Into the Stellar Bowl on the campus of Cherry Creek High School. Matthew, football is finally back.
Yeah, Ben, it is so exciting to be here tonight, and it feels like so much more than a football game. We are just excited to be here with all of these players. They're excited, they're amped up. Smoky's off 2 9-0 seasons. They're excited to be back. They're excited, to prove themselves tonight. They've been moved up to a more competitive league. They're such a strong team. Cherry Creek, hot off a state championship, hoping to defend their title, head back to Mile High this season.
Now, Matthew, all worldwide, and obviously it starts with these fans, it starts with social distancing, masks. So much has changed in the world around us since they claimed the championship, and obviously the road back to winning, to defending that championship against tonight. But what overall has changed this season?
Overall, the biggest things that have changed this season have been the new league structure. To prevent contamination between teams, Cherry Creek has made 7 new leagues, each with around 6 teams that are all located close to each other. That means that Cherry Creek is only going to be playing Cherry Creek School District schools and Arapahoe High School. So this is something big to consider because now they're going to have a less competitive field.
So Matthew, we're ready up here in the booth. We're ready down there on the field. Let's get ready for kickoff.
Yeah.
Cherry Creek, as the home team, won the toss and shafted it all statewide, and they elected to kick. So here we go. The 2020 football season is underway here from Stutler Bowl as Cherry Creek will kick it through the end zone and won't get a touchback to start.
Ben, I can't hear you. It's out. Johnny fixed it.
So here we go. Smoky Hill and the white tops and bottoms. Cherry Creek wearing their blue tops, their white bottoms tonight. And Smoky Hill is going to start on offense to begin their 2020 season. And we have a flag on the play before the ball is even snapped. People say a lot of things about 2020. That might be one of those 2020 things out there. So it's going to be a false start against Brody Michael. He's a junior. And Leslie Richardson III of Smoky Hill is under quarterback tonight after an incredible junior campaign last year. And he's going to complete a pass to the near side. That one to Anthony Harris Jr.
So full disclosure, we had a pregame show planned tonight, and we had a little bit of a technological issue. But we wanted to talk about Leslie Richardson III because he's just such a talented player. He's got great vision, he's got a cannon, and he has a lot of great wide receiver options too. This Smoky offense really finds a way to get open in coverage, and that's going to be pretty important tonight as they're facing a really strong defensive backcourt.
So make sure you stay tuned for the halftime show because everything that we had planned pregame is going to have it going up halftime. We go back to the near side in the direction of Anthony Harris, and it's going to be incomplete. So it's going to be third down, the first third down conversion coming up of the season for Smoky Hill. And now Cherry Creek could really take momentum of this game. They force 3 and out, and then who'll be in the backfield for Cherry Creek if they get to a punt.
Yeah, absolutely. We're so excited to see Miles Purchase return. He is just an absolute force of speed. A couple times last season, he had just punt return for a touchdown, punt return for a touchdown, interception for a touchdown. We're excited to see where he's going to commit to college as well because he's not announcing yet. I think he's going to announce October 31st, so we'll have that for you then.
That's right. So Richards is going to go past the throw. It's going to be a little short pass, and it's complete to Lewis Stallsworth, and he'll get tackled right around the 39, 40-yard line, and that will be a third down conversion good for Smoky Hill.
Wow, that was a really strategic play call on the half of Smoky Hill. I mean, they saw that the linebackers were pressing out and decided to shoot a slant right up the center. And just great speed work from that wide receiver core we were talking about, just such a fast wide receiver core.
Now, as you look at those top four, pretty much for Cherry Creek, the four up front, you got Arden Walker, you got Gus Alinkus, two top-tier recruits. I mean, they're not going to be giving Smoky Hill anything on that line tonight.
No, Leslie Richardson is going to have to find a way to move in the pocket just like this. Wow.
Alinkus is going to try to chase him down. He's going to take it himself. And there's going to be flags all over the field. That did look like a late hit as he was running out of bounds. Richardson just took a shot. I'm not sure who delivered it on the Cherry Creek side of things.
Wow, that was great movement in the pocket from Richardson. And they call him a dual threat quarterback for that exact reason. He can move so well in the pocket, get out of these tough situations. Something we see a lot from, on the other side of the ball, Julian Hammond. We're excited to see his debut for this season tonight as well.
As we take a look at this replay, he escaped the pocket, was being chased down by Zelinkus, and then he took a shot of 48 by Cherry Creek. Fortunately, I don't have my roster here tonight, but it's going to be a 15-yard penalty, late hit. Good replay work there from our crew.
Yeah, Jonathan Varghese on the direct tonight. He's been working so hard. So that's going to be an automatic first down. And where are they going to move the ball to?
Looks like it's going to be the 15. Only looks like about 10 yards.
So to the Cherry Creek 40.
So what we're just looking at is that Smoky out a third down conversion. Cherry Creek was going to try to take momentum of this game. But now Cherry Creek lets up the third down conversion, then takes a penalty, and all of a sudden, here's Smoky Hill on their side of the field.
Yeah, absolutely.
This one's going to go up. Purchases intercepted it, but there's a flag down. I think it's going to be pass interference. Now, Purchase definitely pushed off there. As Richardson III had plenty of time to let that one up, but did indeed look like a push-off from Purchase. Let's take a look here. So it's going to be on the top of your screen. Number 3 is Miles Purchase. And definitely a push. So it's going to be another penalty. So now that's penalties on back-to-back plays. Now, Matthew, something that everybody wondered going into these games. These teams only had, 2 weeks of practice, and they didn't have pads on for that long. So do you think there's like a fatigue factor? Because these guys haven't played in 10 months, and the season sort of started a month ago in a normal year. Yeah,
well, you got to get used to taking a hit, Ben, and these players just aren't used to it. Cherry Creek's barely been in their pads at all. They're going to have to warm up to that tonight.
To the near side, it's going to be another pass up. And it is caught by Smoky Hill. Touchdown, Buffaloes. Anthony Harris Jr. with the touchdown. And Smoky Hill is on the board to start their 2020 campaign. We take a look here. Wow, what a catch. It looks like it was almost one-handed. So there's not a lot of them, but these fans on the Smoke Hill side got quite loud after that one.
So Daniel Beckel with the kick. Oh.
And now a flag on the kick.
It's still good.
The attempt was good. There was a flag. I think whatever the penalty is will be deferred. So the extra point is up and good, and it looks like Smoky Hill takes a 7-0 lead here with 11 minutes even left in quarter number 1. So
I mean, a score 1 minute into the game, at that rate, you got 48 touchdowns in a game. This is not sustainable football from Cherry Creek.
And the last time Cherry Creek was on this field in that Pomona playoff game before they went off to the state championship, almost no points allowed. And it was until really the last drive where Pomona had some momentum, and then it was stopped by an interception by John Adams.
Yeah, this is really staggering to me. This is not the football we see out of Cherry Creek. You know what? I expect it to change for the rest of the game. Cherry Creek just hasn't warmed up yet. You know, they've been in pads, I think, 2 practices so far. That's not enough time to warm up to being hit and to giving hits and to, you know, remembering sort of the rules of football, as easy as that may seem.
And honestly, when we think about it, it's been almost a full calendar year since Cherry Creek was down. And the last time they were down was going to be Pomona on the last homecoming. Spirit Week was this week. I think this week would have normally been homecoming here at Cherry Creek if there wasn't a pandemic going on. But I think it's a full calendar year since Cherry Creek was down.
Well, Ben, isn't that an interesting stat?
Well, it's a new year. Don't have an exact number of days. So the kickoff is going to be on the Cherry Creek side of the field. And Cherry Creek will receive on the Cherry Creek side of the field. You don't see that often. And they'll just kick it through the back of the end zone. It will be a touchback. And here comes the Cherry Creek offense. Matthew, it is Julian Hammond III once again. But Julian Hammond has had some personal things going on in his life, and they haven't had to do with football.
Yeah, Julian Hammond has really kind of been out of the football game for a while. He's more into basketball. You know, it's actually a really interesting story. He's headed to CU for basketball despite being first-team All-State in both basketball and football. So just an all-around really strong athlete.
You know, the Denver Post just released a list of top players, and they said, you know, maybe the new head coach at CU might want to convince him to play in Folsom Field as well, in addition to playing basketball games up in Boulder. So here comes Hammond. He's dropping back, looks to Penry here on the near side. And it looks like it's caught. It's going to be a 5-yard gain up to the 35.
And, you know, Penry actually is going to be at Folsom Field. He's committed to CU, one of the CU's top recruits.
And he committed early on into his junior year.
Oh, yeah, and he was really excited about it. And I'm sure CU is even more excited that they're going to have him. I mean, he is just such an asset. His footwork is really strong. He's also super physical. He can block like a madman. Cherry Creek's really lucky to have him.
Another weapon on this offense, Gunnar Helm, committed to Texas. I mean, this Bruins team is almost like an all-star game of college recruits.
Absolutely.
That pass complete up to the 30, up to the 35 before a broken tackle.
And Gunnar Helm, I mean, the Texas Longhorns have really been making a concerted effort over the past few years to recruit tight ends in particular, and Gunnar Helm included. So that's really just a testament to how strong of a tight end Gunnar Helm is at 6'6", 225 as well. He can block and he can receive. He's also staggeringly fast for his size. He runs in the low 4.3s, I think, for his 400. So just absolutely fast.
So here we go, first down for Cherry Creek. Hammond's going to drop back. It's going to be his third time. He's rushed out of the pocket, tried to find a receiver. It's short as he was on the run. And it will be incomplete. So 2nd and 10 coming up for the Bruins on their own 32. So Matthew, a big question. We're going to talk about pregame. We didn't know if Smoky Hill, because of the conference that they were playing in previously, and obviously they've been 18-0 in league play the last 2 years, but that does only go with one playoff win, and they lost to Columbine last year in the playoffs, who Cherry Creek eventually beat to win their state championship. But they haven't played Cherry Creek in 7 years, and the team's the caliber of Cherry Creek.
They haven't. It's been 7 years since they've competed with these teams, but I think they're ready to compete. For the last 18 games, they have won.
It's going to be the run for Carson Tan the third, and he's going to get more than 10 yards. Looks like it's going to be 11 as he gets up to the 44-yard line. It's going to be another Bruins first down. Carson Tan, he was the only freshman on the roster last year, and he did get some action at that as well when some injuries week 9 and week 10 last year. But Carson Tan, he already knows this offense, which for a sophomore in this program doesn't usually happen.
Yeah, Cherry Creek is going to have to count on Carson Tan for the next few years. He's a really skilled running back. Very fast, and he knows the offense well, that's for sure. I mean, he's been with Cherry Creek for a long time. Chase Penry here lining up down by the numbers. It's interesting. Motion on 19.
Oh, looks like I think Smoky was trying to guess the snap count. It looks like it's going to be a false start.
Yeah, Smoky Hill it looked like they were trying pretty well to disguise their defense there, trying to show blitzes, trying to show coverage that they weren't actually giving.
But
Sorry, go ahead.
To your point, we're on the left hash, and Penry's all the way down here on the 40. He was way out of the play.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, if they're throwing a pass play, he's not going long. He's going to come short. We actually did see him in practice catching screens. So that's on the table for him tonight. All right, so Cherry Creek, 5-yard penalty, gets a 5-yard gain from that penalty on Smoky Hill.
It's always been a theme so far, penalties. Do you think we're going to see that statewide?
I think it's possible. These players just aren't warmed up.
Hammond drops back. He's going to look over the middle. It's intercepted! Oh, it's dropped. Oh, he had it in his hands and he dropped it. I spoke too soon. But that was absolutely in the hands of, I think, Lewis Stallsworth, the senior cornerback. Oh, my goodness, it was in his hands. And there you take a look. Oh, it was in his hands. It just went right through them. That's one he's going to want back. So here we go. It's going to be the run up to the near side. And he's going to get tackled around the 40-yard line, but that's going to be Carson Tan once again.
Carlson Tan, so fast. And you see here, he has such great vision, right? He's running around to the outside. I don't know if we're showing a replay there. No, it looks like we're not. And he gets every yard of the field that he can.
What's interesting here is that Carson Tan is getting a lot of the yards right now, but James Walker II was on this team last year. Doesn't look like to be the main running back, at least not yet.
Yeah, well,
it's going to be the pass. It's Gunnar Helm. He's going to get to the 30. He leaps up a little bit as he gets across to it. He's going to be, looks like it's good enough for a first down. We've got 8:30 left on the clock.
And you see Gunnar Helm there. He hurdles that player. He is an aggressive player, and that's exactly what Cherry Creek needs, and it's exactly what the Texas Longhorns were looking for when they recruited him.
So yeah, not James Walker, Jaylee Stacks, the loss at running back, and a big one because he was 5A Player of the Year last year.
Yeah, Jaylee Stacks, just such a power for Cherry Creek. Cherry Creek's going to call a timeout here. And this is maybe a good opportunity to talk about Jaylee Stacks, who is now headed off to the Air Force for his first season of college football, NCAA, making Cherry Creek proud.
So Cherry Creek will call their first timeout of the half. Coach Dave Logan, haven't gotten a chance to talk about him yet, but he's never hesitant to use timeouts in the first quarter.
No, he's very confident in himself and his team. So making a sacrifice like a timeout is something he believes he can do on a regular basis. And Dave Logan's going to use this timeout strategically too. This isn't just a break. He's telling them something big. Look at this off. Look at what they're showing in the defense. We're gonna try this big play here, something like that. He's a smart guy. He would never use timeout, or rather, I would say he would never waste a timeout. Yeah.
So Cherry Creek's going to be on their 30. We've got 8:11 left here in quarter number one. Might see a big play right here. You never know what they're going to do coming out of the huddle, but we might see a big play, and hopefully the Bruins catch up here momentarily. So there we go. Once again, 1st and 10. Hammond in the backfield. Penry will go into motion on top of your screen and join two more wide receivers. On the bottom, we've got Kai O'Day Jr. He's looking to his left. It's going to be a screen to Penry. And he's going to get it's going to be a short gain.
We saw Penry catching screens in practice this morning, so no surprise there. I think we could see that play a few more times tonight just because Penry's so effective on those screens. He explodes off the ball. That's one thing Penry can do that not a lot of other high school receivers can. He can explode off the ball and still stop and come back for a screen or for a hitch or something like that. And that makes it really hard. That makes, as a cornerback, your job really hard because you don't know if he's going long or if he's stopping short.
Absolutely. So looks like it was a gain of less than a yard because we've got 2nd and 10 now. And we got a flag on the play, so some movement up front.
Feels like this whole game has been penalties. And like we were talking about earlier, Ben, I mean, that could be something we see across the league this week.
It's going to be a false start on the offense, so Cherry Creek's going to move 5 yards back, which will bring up 2nd and 15.
It sounds really silly, but when you've only been in practice for 3 weeks, it's it's those small details, like what are all the penalties that you can kind of start to struggle to remember. So it's going to be a learning process throughout tonight.
These are pretty typical first week jitters when we think about it as well, because the first week is always, the first time in a while for these guys to be on a football field and play games because how long the off season is. And a lot of these guys are off playing club sports during the summer, that is. Penry gets it, and he'll get across the 20. There's another Cherry Creek first down, another reception for Chase Penry. So 6:50, almost halfway through quarter number 1.
Cherry Creek looking to score here. Keep it even by the time the second quarter rolls around, right?
So Smoky Hill with the 7-0 lead, but the Bruins are marching and are now inside the red zone as they're on the 17. Another pass, another screen to Penry, to the 15. Tries to get a move and make a runner around the 10 and get inside of that.
And it's easy to credit Penry there because that was actually an exceptional catch, play, and then, speed. But Coyote Jr., you may have seen him at the beginning of the play. He gets in the way of Penry's defender, leaving Penry wide open to get a few yards after the catch even.
As we take a look here, we've seen now more than a handful of screens tonight. Another great reception by Penry. He's just wide open in the flat.
Yeah, unless Smoky Hill can figure out how to defend that, I think we're going to keep seeing that from Creek.
So it looks like it's going to be 2nd and 1 inside the 10-yard line now for the Bruins. 6:36, the clock is rolling.
That's going to be a run.
And that's going to be enough for the first down. Looks like they're at the 3.5-yard line, so it's going to be 1st and goal for Cherry Creek. What do you think the goal line offense might look like this season?
I think their goal line offense is going to look like it always has, and they're just going to go back to the fundamentals. They play textbook goal line offense. They pretty much go one of two directions. Either just punch it in with a run or try to get someone available on a fade into the back of the end zone. I think we could see that from Penry, fade in the back of the end zone. We've seen it from him before. We saw it from him in the Pomona game last year. It was a really big play. Made a couple of highlight reels for him. But, we could also just see them try to punch it in with James Walker II or Carlson Tan III.
Looks like Coach Dave Logan's going to call his second time out of the game.
And like we're talking about, Ben, he is just not embarrassed to call the timeouts. He uses them strategically. He tells them important information. And these players are going to go to the line far more likely to score on this next play because of it.
This is a big moment in the game because you don't want to get stood up on your first offensive possession inside. Now they're inside the 5-yard line. They've got 4 chances from actually the 3.
Yeah.
So, this is pretty much, we're talking about key moments. This is one of them early on into this contest.
Mm-hmm. The odds are in their favor, and they want to make sure that they continue to be in their favor just to keep that momentum and that psych up.
We can talk about another loss for this Bruins team. A graduating senior is going to be 75, Carson Lee. So Carson Lee was the center, but, center, obviously not a skill position. But the thing is, he was a role player on this team, and he was a leader on this team.
Yeah, not only was he a leader in terms of personality and catalyzing his teammates to success and inspiring them, he was also a leader on the field. He was probably our best O-lineman last year. But I'm confident that he mentored the younger O-linemen. They're big, they're strong, and they're also very tactical and smart about how they block. So definitely optimistic about our O-line this year.
So here we go. It's 1st and goal on the 3. If I'm going to guess, it's going to be a screen. And it's going to be caught for the touchdown.
I'll tell you one thing that's going to be really hard on both of these teams tonight. We've seen it already is, just not knowing what the other team is going to show. Both of these teams' most recent scouting reports are 10 months old. And they just don't have any film on the other team's offense. And that gives the time for the other team to change up their offense. It's been difficult for Smoky to cover. It's been difficult for Creek to cover. They just don't have that film.
So here comes the extra point. It is up and good.
And we have a new kicker this year. Returning viewers will remember Alexi the Leg Sanchez Ventura. But this year we have Bowden Page. And in time he might become Bowden the Leg Page.
He's got to earn it.
Yeah, he's got to earn it.
The thing about Bowden, 4-star recruit, if I'm not mistaken. He's a very good kicker, and especially for kickers, you could tell based on just videos that they'll post on their social media. What, did he make a 50 or 60-yarder over the summer?
I don't know. He has got a leg, Ben, and we're definitely going to see it in game.
So one thing that I feared all last year is that a game would come down to a field goal. It never did, and I think Alexi would have handled it. But now Bowden, he's in our grade. For those of you watching at home, me and Matthew, juniors here at Cherry Creek. How do you think Bowden can fare if a game comes down to him?
Well, Bowden's been kicking for a long time. He's got no problems under pressure. I think he'd do just fine.
Well, here we go. Bowden Page here to kick off. It's a low one, but it looks like it's going to reach the end zone, and it will be yet another touchback with 4:54 left here in quarter number one. It is all square here at Stutler Bowl.
And I'll tell you, with that long kickoff, he is one step closer to being Bowden the Leg Page.
You know, by the time we get to the fourth quarter, honestly, that could be it. You never know.
Got to focus on fundamental football, put themselves back in that December headspace. Remember, fundamentals. Can't commit as many penalties this drive. It's just not a sustainable practice.
Rushed out of the pocket, back here on the near side. Take it himself, get to the 20, then look back, and there is a swarm of Cherry Creek defenders. Looks like it's going to be, they're going to give him some forward progress on that. But I think it might be half a yard. I think that's going to be a tackle for loss for number 83, Arden Walker, another huge guy, one of those big 3-4-star college recruits.
Yeah, Arden Walker, he's been practicing with the likes of the Broncos defensive line, including Bradley Chubb this summer. He is just such a big guy. He's so strong. He can throw his weight around. He's going to be announcing where he's recruiting to. Where he will be committing to, which college. Sometime this month, we're really looking forward to that because that college is really going to benefit from
Richardson the third, he's airing one up. Incomplete. Oh. Looks like pass interference can be called. Once again, Enoch Woolfork in the area for the Bruins.
And let's just go back to Arden Walker. 19 college offers, 16 of which are from a top 5 program. His father was an all-conference defensive lineman for the Buffaloes in 1989. And now he's training Arden and some of the Broncos' top pass rushers as well. He said from these top pass rushers, he's learned what the drive is in these players. And he said it's been really inspiring to see the NFL work ethic. And that's just something Arden Walker really owns on this field, is working hard. Every day you see him out there hustling.
You saw there on the replay, the pocket was collapsing, but Richardson wasn't phased at all, and he let that pass up, and he drew a penalty.
Yeah, that was smart play by him, right? He's throwing to places where he might not know if he's going to get a completion, but he does know if he doesn't get the completion, he's going to get a penalty.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 34. Now Richardson going to take himself. It's a design quarterback run.
That looks like a run pass option to me, which is a pretty sophisticated play to see out of a high school quarterback, seeing that read and all that.
So it's going to be a gain of about 2, and now 2nd down coming up for the Bruins. 3:34 left here in quarter number 1. We're still all square. Richardson back to the near side. The pass is out of reach, and there is a late flag coming in. Matthew, what do you think about that?
You know, I think that's a gray area. You can call it or you can't. Cherry Creek can't keep doing that if they want to. If they want to, you know, stop this drive. They want to win tonight. I mean, you're giving them free yards and free points if you're committing all these penalties.
The flag was picked up. They're going to the Cherry Creek sideline, so it might have been a penalty on Smoky, in fact. And let's listen into the call. Whoa!
On the offense.
So we're going to back them up. It's going to be second
Really?
and now very long for the Buffaloes.
Well, I'll say what I said about Creek. The Buffaloes can't keep committing penalties tonight, too, if they want to win. I mean, sometimes these games can just come down to, you know, whoever has the fewest penalties ends up winning. Because more penalties equals fewer possessions, and fewer possessions, fewer opportunities to score.
So it looks like we got 2nd and 24 coming up for Smoky Hill.
Richardson with 5 pass options here.
Pocket is collapsing, and he's just going to chuck it into the ground. Intentional grounding?
Yeah,
I don't think he was out of the pocket.
Yeah, that's going to come out as intentional grounding. Cherry Creek's pass rush, I mean, just completely unblocked there. They allowed 2 guys to get in there. Leslie should be glad he threw it, because otherwise he was just going to get decked by
There was
Arden
2 guys
Walker.
both sides. You have Arden Walker on one side, and then you have Malik coming in on the other side. And I believe it's a loss of down for that as well. So, wow, they are inside the 10-yard line now. They've got, I think, 40 yards to go here.
Well, I think we'll see pass play here.
2nd and 36 officially is what's on the scoreboard here. .3:15 left in quarter number 1.
If this pass rush can get through, they might get a safety, so Leslie's got to dump it early.
It looks like Arden Walker's coming around. There's 3 guys right there, and he's just going to chuck it to the near sideline. Wow, that pocket collapsed like that.
And that's all O-line. I mean, sorry, that's all the D-line for Cherry Creek right there. I mean, just absolutely physical.
So 4th and 36. Matthew, first punt of the game coming up for Smoky Hill. Who's in the backfield for Cherry Creek?
Miles Purchase, and we have seen him so many times on so many highlight reels, taking the ball to the house. You know, we've seen him from Cherry Creek's 20, taking it 80 yards to the house. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it again tonight.
Here's the punt.
Another penalty.
Whistle's coming in. Purchase was ready. You could tell. He was ready.
He's amped up. We were watching him yesterday in practice catch balls.
Flag is on the far sideline, right on the sideline. You can see the ref on the near side. And it's going to be encroachment on the defense.
Still 4th and 31.
It's only a 5-yard penalty for the Bruins, against the
Yeah.
Bruins, rather.
But the good news for that means is Smoky Hill punter is not going to be so deep into his end zone. Less chance of a safety.
Oh, they just changed it. So now the encroachment's going to go against Smoky Hill. And half the distance from the goal from where they are is not that far, because they are backed up very deep into their own end zone.
That is going to put them pretty deep into the end zone. If the Cherry Creek pass rush can get through here, block it, that would be pretty detrimental. He's got to get this off quick.
And he does. It's going to get to the near sideline, and Purchase is not going to have an opportunity to return it. He was just trying to get it out of there as fast as he can, so we'll have to wait for another Miles Purchase return.
Of course, that was actually a strategy we saw last season, was teams just started punting it out of bounds when they knew Miles Purchase was returning.
What was surprising me, it took teams until week 10 to figure out to do that. I mean, Purchase had pulled up, 7 or 8 touchdowns in the first 8 weeks, and there's the Miles Purchase special, of course, is when he'd get a pick 6 and a touchdown return in the same game. But teams figured it out, and he still had a year left because he was a junior last year. And we might be seeing that all year this year as well.
Absolutely. It's a point of pride for Miles Purchase. And his skill in that level is just completely unparalleled. And it's why he has so many offers from colleges. He's announcing October 31st. We'll be excited to see what school that is then.
But quarterback Julian Hammond, Cherry Creek offense is back down there. Here's Hammond, near side, sidearm throw, complete to Kyle Deo Jr., down to the 15, the 10, 5, touchdown Bruins!
That's pretty much all run after catch, and you could watch Coyote Jr.
He's excited after that way, you can tell.
Watch Coyote Jr. just break tackle after tackle. I mean, if Smoky Hill can't figure out how to get some better coverage on these screens tonight, they're just going to get beat because it's pretty clear that it's a big part of the Cherry Creek playbook.
So Coyote Jr., he was a transfer last year as a sophomore, and he didn't get that much time because of how deep Cherry Creek was. But now as a junior, he's going to get a lot more playing time, and he's been waiting to get his time.
Absolutely, Ben. And even while he's been waiting, he's been such a valuable player. And he's not been a player that you typically hear about or he's in the stats books because he hasn't been scoring a lot, but he has been creating a lot of room for scoring. He's a good blocker, and he plays smart football, runs great routes. Julian Hammond is going to have a great resource in him tonight.
I'm not even saying this just to contribute to boat in the leg. That extra point cleared the uprights by 30 yards. I mean, he just showed range on an extra point.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to admire that ball going up. That was insane to me.
Well, we're big fans of the special teams, aren't we, Ben?
We did see some special teams practice. We're up here getting ready for this broadcast yesterday. We saw some emphasis on special teams. Mm-hmm. I personally enjoyed that. I'm a big special teams guy.
Yeah, I think we could see some trick plays out of them this year. So that entire drive is just going to be 8 seconds long.
What do you think about it, though? Cherry Creek is 2 for 2 on offensive drives in the end zone. So it's a 14-7 lead, 2:53 left here in quarter number 1.
This is a really high-scoring game. We've seen scores at this same level after 48 minutes of play. So sounds like we're going to have a lot of scoring tonight. Should be a good one. Stay tuned.
And this one's going to be able to be returned by Smoky Owls. It's caught on the 1-yard line. And it's going to get up to the 20, maybe 21-yard line. And Sam Pesnard's there on the special teams tackle. There's another guy who's finally getting to the rotation in his junior season.
Yeah, we're excited to see from all these guys like Sam Pesnard and others, lots of new linebackers, lots of new defensive backs out there tonight who are going to be making some big plays on special teams and even more so on defense.
So not a great drive last time. They got backed up in 36 yards or 26 yards in penalties for Smoky Hill. This one's going to stay on the ground and wrapped up pretty quickly there. 1-yard gain at most. Henry Lamar, another junior. There's a whole class of juniors that are really bursting up into the scene this year, Matthew.
Absolutely, and we're excited to see them all. Just to give you a few, Sam Pesnard, Tyler Tolbert, Brady Rads, our long snapper.
I think he's actually a 5-star long snapper. I'm not kidding when I say Brady Rads is a 5-star long snapper.
I'm not sure about that, Ben. We'll have to double check.
He's at least a 4. Looking back to the near side, it's caught what looked like a comeback route.
Thomas Fisher, Ed Pilato are 2 more.
Alec Pinkoski, the senior, excuse me if I got that name wrong, with the reception for Smoky Hill.
Cherry Creek's been really strategic with the subbing, getting lots of fresh legs in there every play.
So 3rd and 1 now after the 9-yard gain. It's going to be a run, stay on the ground here to the near side. And he's going to be brought down right around the 42, so there's a good pickup.
It's from
Kamari Lewis Stallworth with another first down, excuse me. Charles McKeever, there's one of those juniors we talked about. So there's a nice balance of juniors and senior, and if you're looking at Cherry Creek's program going forward, you got a nice class of guys that'll be seniors next year as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Cherry Creek has a lot to look forward to, and it's really been because they've cultivated these players so well over the past couple of years. These players have been working hard, even though they haven't been starting players, and it's starting to pay off for them.
So it looks like it's going to be another pass. Pocket collapsing, and it's going to, Arden Walker had some hands on him, and he's not actually brought down before the whistle blown. There's a lot of guys there, and here limping off on the near side of the field looks to be Caleb Depew, the junior guard. He's having some pain here on the near side.
Well, I want to take that play to talk about just the skill of Leslie Richardson III. You saw him look at all 4 of his looks, decide none of them were open, and then look where he could take the ball for himself and take it for himself.
2nd and 10 on the 41. 50 seconds left here in quarter number 1. It's going to be a screen pass. Complete. And across the 50-yard line for Davian Norman, the senior wide receiver.
Just some excellent blocking there from Smoky Hill. Cherry Creek's going to have to figure out how to shut down the screen. That's a big theme we've seen tonight, Ben, the screen. And it's worked out well for both teams. I don't know if, just a week into the season, only 3 weeks into practice, you just don't practice defending the screen very much, but it's just been a weak point tonight for both teams.
We want to thank all of you for joining us here on the Cherry Creek Sports Network tonight. Such unusual times, but we're happy that we can have you joining us and that we can bring football into your home. Richardson III looking back up to pass. Long pass is almost intercepted. It popped back up, but it will end up being incomplete.
And that's almost intercepted by number 26, Sam Pesderts. I think a few more weeks of practice, he's got that.
You absolutely, Pesnertz has some speed, and he's a baseball player as well. He just showed off some speed right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he wasn't close to the ball, and he got there in time. Following the ball, and jumps up, deflects the pass, almost intercepted.
So 2nd and 10 now for Smoky Hill. There's 8 seconds left, so we've got 1, maybe 2 more plays left here in quarter number 1.
Of course, 21 points already on the board.
That one's going to be the run, and it's going to be a short game for the Bruins, and I believe that will bring us to the end of our first quarter here on CCSN. The Cherry Creek Bruins lead at 14 over the Smoky Hill Buffaloes.
That's the end of the first quarter. The Bruins lead Buffalo 14-7.
It's number 8 on here. It's number 8 on the screen. And then can you play the matchup graphic? Yeah, and then can you play the Smoky Hill Cherry Creek logos? The Cherry Creek Sports Network, in association with the Colorado High School Activities Association, are so proud to bring you Colorado High School football on CCSN, presented by 303 Smiles. Tonight, it's a 5A Centennial League matchup between the Buffaloes of Smoky Hill and the defending state champion Bruins of Cherry Creek. Benjamin Paris, Matthew Anderson, welcoming you to quarter 2 here from Stutler Bowl, where the Cherry Creek Bruins lead it 14-7. Matthew, what'd you see, what'd you like, and maybe what you didn't like so much about quarter number 1 from these two teams?
Well, quarter number 1 opened up with penalty after penalty after penalty, and we talked about that, Ben. That's just not sustainable football. But it looks like those teams are turning it around. They just had to get warmed up. They've been practicing for 3 weeks. This is their first game. That's to be expected, and the penalties have certainly toned down. We love to see the screen. Both teams have struggled covering the screen, but they've also executed the screen really well. Big gains on the screen, touchdowns on the screen. I think we'll see that some more in the rest of our quarters.
So here we go. Quarter number 2 from Stutler Bowl is coming at you right now live on the Cherry Creek Sports Network. A 3rd and 7 is what's at stake right now for Smoky Hill. They're on the Cherry Creek 45. The pass is incomplete, overthrown in the direction of Alec Pinkowski. So we got a 4th and 7, and it looks like Miles Purchase is approaching the Cherry Creek backfield. And
So I think that was Tyler Tolbert and Charles McKeever on defense, 2 rising juniors, as we talked about. Of course, Arden Walker really made that play happen with his pass rush. Just didn't give Leslie Richardson enough time to look down his looks and give it a good pass.
so 4th and 7, I believe, is what it is. The pass is tipped and incomplete, but we now have a flag in the backfield. It's on the 45-yard line. And there's also a flag on the other 39-yard line. So there might be multiple fouls here on the play.
Cherry Creek again with these strategic subs. Just keeping everybody fresh.
A good play there by Henry Lamar, the linebacker diving across to try to make that play, but there is a flag in the area. And let's listen in.
Pass interference on the defense, number 24. That penalty is flag. We have personal foul, roughing the passer, number 83 defense. That penalty will be accepted.
Well, Ben, that's exactly like we don't want to see out of either team.
So
It's going to work to Smoky Hill's favor there.
Arden Walker's going to get the roughing the passer penalty, and there's also a penalty on Henry Lamar. That one declined. But they're going to keep marching on, and it's another pretty much, 15 yards, free 15 yards off penalties.
Cherry Creek defense has got to realize here that the refs are sensitive to these roughing the passer, these late hit plays, and they can't keep that up.
So here we go, Richardson the third. Rolling out to the near side. He has some wide open space. Gus Zelinkis' helmet is off as he's trying to make a tackle. It looks like there's a cleat out on the field too, and now some flags. There is carnage. Quite frankly, we see some cleats, we see a helmet, and we see some penalty flags down as well. Let's see what this one will be.
Gus Zelinkis went after that with his helmet off. I mean, that is brave.
I think he realized last second, I don't think you can tackle someone without a helmet. So let's see what what we got here. We got multiple penalties. So there's a penalty on Gus Zelinkis. Not quite sure why.
Playing with his helmet off is what the ref said.
Okay, all right. So I guess you have to take yourself out of the play,
Yeah.
which is very hard to ask a football player to do. And then there's a
Illegal
use of hands. So those are going to offset. So we got 1st and 10, and you guys might be able to hear this at home. We have a social distance reminder here for the fans at Stutler. You don't hear that. Actually, you've never heard that before in any other season.
No, but the fans really are doing a great job with it.
Back here on the near side, trying to make a juke kind of move. It's going to end up being a loss for Kamari Lewis Stallworth.
And Kamari Lewis Stallworth is a top player. He is fast, and he's got great ball vision too, but it's so difficult when you have 3 guys coming down on you. You have to hope for some better coverage from your offensive line.
See here, he got past really the first 2 defenders before he's wrapped up by 3 more Cherry Creek players. 11-10 is what we have here left in quarter number 1.
Quarter 2.
Quarter 2, rather. Half number 1. There's a 1 somewhere. Gonna drop back. Looks like the pocket was collapsing once again. And it's cut. And it's fumbled out of bounds. It was not fumbled out of the back of the end zone. It went out at the 1-yard line, which means Smoky Hill will be able to retain possession. And it's going to be Alec Pigowski again. Let's take a look here.
Wow.
Something happened to Al Ashworth there. Excuse me, that was Charles McKeever, rather.
Yeah, Al Ashford's not on the roster tonight, I don't think.
Interesting. He's the Wisconsin recruit as of, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
July 27th? August 27th? I don't know, but...
Inspiring story. Really inspiring story from him.
Yeah.
So first and goal from the 1 now. Looks like it's going to be the run. And it looks like he's get. Whoa! Someone with Cherry Creek ended up with the ball. It was Arden Walker. Looks like he might have been playing some games. But it looks like this one might be close. Looks like they're going to be short.
Spotted with an inch to go.
We're talking what? Like, we're not even talking feet. We're talking inches at this point. Very, very, very close. So now 2nd and 1 for the Buffaloes. And it looks like that they called a timeout. Smoky Hill will call their first timeout of the half.
Smoky Hill right here has an opportunity to set the score equal and give themselves some momentum.
They're going to try to tie it up here. So, Matthew, we could take some more time to talk about the unique season that we have right in front of us. I mean, only 6 games, shortened rosters. The playoffs are shortened as well. It's only going to be an 18 playoffs, so we're going to start in the quarterfinals. And then the season will be all wrapped up on December 5th, kind of like last year.
Yeah. As the Bruins head to Mile High and as Smoky Hill tries to make their case to the playoffs, they are going to have to consider some different factors like we talked about earlier, the new league structure. You know, all these teams in the league are only going to be playing each other. And the smaller roster sizes, you know, returning viewers will remember 80, 90 players on the sidelines. This week, only 50.
As you look at your screen, you see some COVID-19 related details. So we talked about the limited rosters, social distance measure taking place on the line. You see cheerleaders on one side of the screen, palms on one side of the screen, and each player was given 3 tickets. So right back at you, looks like Smoky Hill. No signal yet, except for the Smoky Hill sideline.
If they don't get it, they'll have another opportunity on 3rd down.
I think they're short.
They're spotted short. I mean, from here on my binoculars, that looks like it's on the goal line.
I can't get much. I mean, game of inches right now.
Yeah.
So 10:05 is what they have. 3rd down. Richards going to try to take it himself. It looks like he ended up backwards. Now, did he cross the plane?
That's a really difficult call to make. Of course, they have the opportunity on 4th down as well.
So now let's take a look. It looks like those Cherry Creek guys, they stacked the line. Wow. It's very hard to tell to see. You know, we don't have the advanced technologies that the pros do to see if he broke the plane, but definitely a loss there. So now 4th and 1 now.
3rd time's the charm. That's what they say, Ben. We'll see if Smoky can get it here.
It's getting very loud in Stutler Bowl. Whoa, flags on the play.
It looked like a false start on Cherry Creek. Move it half a distance to the goal, half an inch.
So there we go. It's going to be half the distance of what, 6 inches? It's going to be 3?
I don't know. I mean, at this point, you're down to the real small numbers. Just a few inches here for Leslie Richardson the 3rd. Whether he runs it in, throws it in.
Trying to take it himself. Let's see where the momentum took him. And it's getting very loud on the Cherry Creek side of things. Arden Walker's excited. It's a goal line stand for the Cherry Creek Bruins. They really just stopped that 4 plays in a row.
That's pretty incredible, and just a testament to the strength of the Cherry Creek Bruins defensive line. Gus Olinskis, Arden Walker, both headed off to top colleges. Arden Walker, we don't know where. Gus Olinskis headed off to Rutgers. Gus Olinskis is a really strong player. His dad played center at UCLA. He's also a nice guy, too. He's in Cherry Creek Sports Network production team. Of course, not right now. He's down on the field.
And talking with Gus this week, he really liked Rutgers because he really fell in love with the coaching staff. And they're kind of in a rebuild because they're in such a loaded conference in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
But he really wants to be a part of that rebuild, and he's excited to get out there next year. It's going to be a run. Looks like it's up to the 5-yard line, so it gives Cherry Creek a little bit of safety in terms of a safety.
Yeah. Great vision by Carlson Tan. I mean, that play was moving so rapidly. The hole's developing and undeveloping so quickly, and Carlson Tan just manages to find everyone, sneak through.
So Cherry Creek has the ball back without any damage. The only thing is that they're deep back in their own on their own side of the field.
And I forget exactly which number it was, but Dave Logan said, I don't know, 20% chance that you actually ever score when you start within your own 10-yard line. So Cherry Creek's got to beat the odds here.
Looks like it's going to be to Kyle Day. He's going to try to turn the corner around the 10-yard line, and we have yet another flag on the play.
Yesterday we were watching practice. We saw a couple of sweeps like that. They really seemed to be a fan of the sweeps with the toss. Julian Hammond, Coyote Jr. connecting on that. We saw a few others with Julian Hammond, Carlson Tan.
It's going to be holding on the offense. So it looks like Cherry Creek's going to be moved back a little bit. It's going to be on there inside the 10 for sure. As we're approaching 8 minutes left in quarter number 2, the first half.
A little bit of wind for the first time tonight.
Wind is coming from east to west towards us a little bit. That pass, looking in the direction of Gunnar Helm, got a little bit of a miscommunication off his hands as he was coming across. Incomplete, so now a 3rd down conversion coming up for the Bruins.
Third and 9 here.
The playbook is pretty wide open right now. You know, you could pass or you could run.
Well, I would say although the playbook is pretty wide open, I think the number of plays they have is pretty limited because they only have 3 weeks of practice. That's not enough time to learn all your plays.
That's a great point. So 7:49 for Julian Hammond and the Cherry Creek Bruins. They've got 3rd and 9. He's going to drop back to pass. Looking at the near side. It's going to be Penry. Breaks a tackle across to the 10 to the 15. Now up to the 20, breaks another tackle, and he gets up to the 30, almost up to the 35. What a play there. Lots of broken tackles from Chase Penry.
Yeah, he's such a strong physical player. And that's why it's such a privilege to have him as a wide receiver option, because you can dump it off short and have him get 10, 20, 30 yards after catch.
There we go. 1 broken tackle, 2 broken tackles. And he gets across the 30 when Cherry Creek was back inside their own 10. So 3rd down conversion, successful for the Bruins. Check that one off. So now 1st and 10 on their 33.
And Penry, of course, is an All-American nominee, so definitely one of the top players in the nation.
First and 10 on the 33s. We're approaching 7 minutes. Hammond going to drop back again. It's going to be a little bit of a screen pass. And it looks like it's going to be enough for a 1st down. That pass to Keegan Hull. Another junior running back.
Mm-hmm. Juniors are stepping up.
So good for another Cherry Creek 1st down. Now they're on their own 45, and it looks like Smoky Hill's going to want a chance to talk about things. Matthew, I'd love to take a time to look at these teams the last, couple seasons, see where the momentum's been.
Absolutely, Ben. Well, why don't we go back to 2013 to start? If we look at the 2013 flashback, at this time we had Milo Hall, Milo Hall Jr., he was just an absolute force for running on the Cherry Creek football field. And he made a big impact in terms of what running backs would look like after Milo Hall. Today he's in the NCAA. He's actually a pretty famous NCAA running back, and he had something like 180 yards that game. So definitely a big memory when you look back in terms of Cherry Creek football and Cherry Creek versus Smoky Hill.
And that was the last time these two teams played ultimately before they left each other's conferences. But you talk about 4 carries on 3 touchdowns. It's not even like he was close to the end zone. He was almost going half the field on each of his carries, Matthew.
Yeah, absolutely breakout player, just a breakout performance.
Cherry Creek went on to win that game 48-14, dominated running for sure, and Mile Hall led that. But passing yards, Smoky Hill passing team, and we see that with Richardson the third here tonight as well. Hammond's going to go to the near side, trying to find some space. He's going to take it, maybe get a gain of 1, but he's going to run out of bounds on keeper.
Great pass rushing by Smoky there. I mean, they forced Hammond out of the pocket. What they say about Hammond is he's got a slow heartbeat, and that means he really can take those high-pressure situations in very calmly and process them. But that's just a really challenging situation to be in, and credit to Smoky Hill for having such a good pass rush and pushing Julian Hammond into such an awkward position.
6:41, 2nd and 10 or 11 coming up for the Bruins. A little bit of a low snap for Hammond. He's going to pass. Great catch by Helm, and he used almost all of that 6'4" frame.
Yeah, all of that frame, and I forget what his vertical is, 36 inches, something ridiculous. He's way above that other player. That player can't even contest that. And that's one of his big advantages that the Texas Longhorns will be looking for next year. Along the lines of the Texas Longhorns, he's going to be a big part next year of developing their new offense. Their current offense is going to kind of recycle next year with Sam Ellinger probably being drafted to the NFL. So he's going to be a big impact player in the NCAA as early as next year.
3rd and 5 now. 3rd down conversion coming up for the Bruins. They are smack on the 50-yard line. They're going to go to the run. And it looks like Carlson Tan is going to be stopped short. So now a little bit of a decision time for the Bruins. And, Coach Logan not scared to go for it on 4th and short. So is it a punt time, Matthew, or is it time to go for it?
Well, it looks like they're going to go for it. And Coach Logan knows the odds. He's computed them. He's an analytical coach in many respects. I forget. He has a table, this big table of odds. I would say, he thinks the odds are in his favor. He's going to score more points here, and that's why he's going to go for 4.
So they're going to go for it. Hammond's going to keep it himself. They're going to push him forward, and it looks like he's going to have more than enough for the first down. Looks like he's going to be inside the 40 to the 39, which will be, plenty of yards for the first down as we're over halfway through quarter number 2.
And that play really comes down to the O-line, who did a fantastic job there just pushing, just getting the room. If you can be physically bigger, then you can oftentimes win those battles of inches.
So now Cherry Creek back on the Smoky Hill side of things, going to look to take advantage. 39 yards to go. Inside 5 minutes now. We've got 3 wide receivers and 2 running backs out there. Hammond. Get a look to the near side. It's Kyle J, and it's overthrown. Some flags in the area, however.
Kyle Day did a great job separating from his man there. He's a fast player. Excited to step up as a junior.
It's quite rowdy out here, Matthew. So it looks like it's pass interference. We're moving.
There's some heated emotions here from the Smoky Hill sideline, and I can't really blame them. They're making the case that it wasn't a catchable pass, so how can it really be called pass interference? That's really just up to the refs at that point.
So to the 24 is where Cherry Creek finds them. So there's a nice 15-yard gain for you. Hammond going to take another snap, drop back. Move across the field to the 10, and out of bounds for Keegan Holes.
Hammond, of course, moving so well in the pocket on that play.
Good job there. Keegan breaks a tackle and gets inside the 10. So first and goal from the 4 coming up for the Cherry Creek Bruins. So the Bruins looking to take a 2-score lead. And here comes Hammond. Gonna move to the far side and throw it into the end zone for the touchdown. It is the tight end, Gunnar Helm. And the Cherry Creek Bruins tack on their 3rd touchdown of the game. It's 27 with a PAT pending.
All right, we have Bowden the leg, Page out here again. Oh, sorry, I don't know if he's earned it yet. Bowden Page. Although he really has made a great case for himself being the leg tonight.
So here comes Bowden with the 20-yard PAT. Up and good.
And he's got some clearance into that. The poor marching band nearly got taken out.
There is a odd configuration out here at Stutler because the marching band is behind the end zone, usually where they find themselves for graduation ceremonies here at Cherry Creek. And obviously there's a lack of a student, well, not lack of, there just is no student section, and that's not by choice. Sometimes it's by choice. There's just not a student section allowed based on the capacity.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Palms, the cheer, they all have their own areas, caution taped off, don't go close.
And cheer is all the way on the right end zone. That's going to be, the south end zone. In the north end zone, we have the Cherry Creek Palms. On the south near side, we see some Smoky Hill cheerleaders. No complaints. You know what? No complaints so far. Pretty happy that football's back.
Yeah, we're excited to be out here and just be able to participate in this historic experience.
That is a great word to describe it. So here we go. 4:23. Cherry Creek leads it by 2 touchdowns. It's 21-7. I believe all 3 of them have come in the air as well for Cherry Creek.
Yeah, sounds about right. I mean, that's Julian Hammond at work. What a standout athlete he is.
And that one not going to reach the end zone. So here's the 2nd return in a row coming up for Smoky Hill. And he's going to be brought right down near the 20-yard line once again. So another chance for Smoky Hill, led by their senior quarterback, Leslie Richardson III.
We didn't have much of an opportunity to talk about him before the game, but Leslie Richardson III is just such a skilled quarterback. He was an all-state honorable mention last year. He's been a big part of this team's success over the past 2 seasons. He's been starting both seasons, and now he's a senior, starting since a sophomore. And he's been passing 220 yards per game. It's a big accomplishment to break 200 in one game, but doing it on average is really just pretty incredible.
So Smoky Hill it is. 1st and 10 on the 21. Richardson's going to go with the handoff. Going to be a cutback move, and he's going to be brought down. Brought way down by Malik.
Number 3, Kamar Lewis Stallworth, brought down in the backfield by number 50,
Jeko Dumi is the correct way to pronounce Malik's last name. Big tackle for a loss there. Going to be a loss of 10, so 2nd and 20 now. Smoky Hill on their 11s, and we saw this 2 drives ago, or was it the last drive, where they ran into some problems, not in front of them, but behind them.
Well, absolutely, Ben, and I think they've learned from that experience. It looks like they have 4 passing options right now.
It's going to be a drop back once again. Pass to the far side, going to be hauled in and complete for probably a 15-yard gain. It's going to be Alec Pinkowski. He has the lone touchdown tonight, I believe, for Smoky Hill.
And Alec Pinkowski is one of Leslie Richardson's just absolutely great options. He does a great job on that play of separating himself from his defender.
3rd and 5. Another 3rd down conversion coming up for Smoky Hill.
You know, if you look at Leslie Richardson's vision on that play, he knew that Pinkowski was going to be open, just waited. Perfect timing, perfect accuracy. That's the harmony that they need on this offense.
So here comes another 3rd down conversion. Looking in the near side of the field. It is popped up way high and way kind of long and to the right. So 4th down coming up for Smoky Hill. Looks like we got the punt team coming onto the field for both the teams. And got to say it once again, another opportunity for Miles Purchase is coming upon us.
Oh boy, are we hoping, Ben.
I watch a lot of, when I had all the time off, Miles Purchase is a guy I watched a lot of film on because it's just so exciting to see him. A really, really fast guy. And him and Al Ashford, I'd love to see those two in a race. Because those guys 40 times are so fast. Here it comes. It's low and to the left. Purchase is going to buff it. He's going to end up picking it up, though. Make a cutback move towards his own 35. Still not brought down that he is. But there is a flag down on the 24-yard line where the punt came from. So it's going to be on your left side.
Purchase muffing that there. That is not characteristic play of Purchase. He's a really skilled player. He's got great ball handling. And I chalk that up to the fact that he doesn't have very many reps, right? He's been practicing for 3 weeks. That's not enough time to get in enough punt returns to be able to make sure you catch every single play, every single punt. In fact, we've seen him in practice muff a few. I think as this Cherry Creek team and the Smoky Hill team warm up to the rest of the season, they'll make fewer careless errors like that.
So we got some referees discussing some things on the Cherry Creek 40. And looks like that we're going to try to get Coach Dave Logan's opinion on something. So it leads me to believe it's a penalty on Smoky Hill.
Yeah, the Cherry Creek sideline seemed to be pretty fired up. I don't know if they thought there was a penalty or something along those lines, but Dave Logan definitely making his case here. Both these coaches, of course, very historic in CHSAA 5A football. Tom Donnell's been coaching for 28 years. He's the Smoky Hill coach. And Dave Logan, Cherry Creek coach, has been coaching for 27 years. Both have coached at Mullen. And both are consistently, award-receiving coaches. Tom Donnell took Smoky Hill from 0-5 in 2017 to 18-1 the next 2 years.
And before that, he was at Smoky Hill after Dave Logan departed. So looks like the punt team's coming back out. There's a legal formation on the punt team. There's going to be a block in the back on the return team. We're going to offset, though, and just totally redo the kick. So another chance for Purchase. So the muff, not going to go down on the stat sheet anywhere.
Well, and he's a 3-star recruit. It couldn't hurt his stat sheet too much. His stat sheet is already so strong. I think I said this before, but he's going to be coming out with his commitment on October 31st. That's Halloween. Very excited.
Spooky. All of a sudden, I got kind of quiet in here.
Crowd's mellowed out.
So another punt coming up from Smoky Hill. Great snap. High and to the left. Purchase is not going to touch this one. It's going to take a Smoky Hill bounce at the 50. Roll right around the 45. So Cherry Creek has 55 yards of field in front of them. We talked a lot about this last year. It is a lot easier when you're only playing with half the field.
Absolutely, Ben. It just statistically works out, according to Dave Logan's chart anyways, that when you're, in the 50 to go or even closer, you're just more and more likely to score. You have less energy to spend on fewer yards to go, and you have fewer plays that you need to make to make it to the end zone. And I think your odds increase like 10% for every 5 yards that you get closer to the 50. So
that's a great stat. I didn't know that.
Oh, that's straight from Dave Logan.
I know you guys have your weekly meetings. Did you miss that a lot over the quarantine period? And
oh, yeah.
Really, you missed out on months of meetings with Coach Logan.
Uh-huh. I had steak stroganoff at his house. No. That's just an inside joke. Dave Logan would never meet with me, but we do get his scouting reports. He is a very talented scouting coach.
And he was a huge part of getting football to come back. And if anybody listens to a show on KOA, I mean, he was very, very vocal about getting the season to go. Hammond looking deep. It's caught by Penry, and he's brought down inside the 10-yard line. We do have a flag in the backfield.
And we have a flag near Penry, too. But let's just talk about the fact that Penry held on to that. He's 6'2", 200. He's a big guy. He's physical. He can hold on to that. That's pretty impressive. I would say, you know, most receivers, you can't count on them to hold on to that. And that's going to be a big deal for
I
Cherry
think
Creek.
the flag back there might be a face mask as Penry is coming down. You just saw that. Yep, he was looking for it. It looks like he was tackled by the face mask. So, what from inside the 10, it's probably half the distance to the goal. So the face mask penalty, which we did identify, is going to offset with the illegal formation for the Bruins.
So that's 2 illegal formation penalties tonight, 1 on each team, and that's just because they've been practicing for 3 weeks. Normally by this time, they've been practicing for 4 months. So this is really, with fewer reps like this, with a lot less practice, it's just harder to be better in those fundamentals, like remembering your formations.
So 1st and 5. So I guess those penalties didn't quite offset. Cherry Creek did end up gaining 5 yards. And we are now at the 2:30 mark of quarter number 2. Hammond going to drop back once again. Looks like he's going to go deep. It's the exact same play to Penry. It's caught to the 5. Touchdown, Chase Penry. They just ran the exact same play twice, and it ends up with a Cherry Creek score.
Chase Penry just does a great job accelerating past his defender.
And not purchase. Hammond had all sorts of time. They're basketball teammates, by the way. But Hammond had all sorts of time. Great play there by Penry in for the score. And it's now a 3-score lead for the Bruins.
Bowden Page to kick. Brady Rads on the snap.
And that's Shreyas with the hold. So we got all juniors on the special teams right there.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, last year, Brady Rads and Shreya Sriram, our long snapper placeholder duo, were the only 2 starting sophomores who started the entire season.
Would you look at that? Would you look at that? That is quite iconic, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, so talk about some juniors stepping up.
It's fun for us because, you know, we started last year as our sophomore year, this year our junior year. More than anything, being the student broadcast is a great opportunity for us. But getting to broadcast our friends and our peers, the kids that we see in the hall, is so awesome, especially for Tyler Tolbert, who's in our CCSN class and contributes so much to this broadcast. This is just such a special opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Gus Alinskis, too, is also in CCSN.
There's so many contributors.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys, you don't always hear about them, but we have so many contributors to this great program. We'll talk about who's here tonight as our show moves along. But, I mean, it is so awesome. I mean, this production's all student run, and we're happy that you guys are able to enjoy it at home. Touchback there for the Bruins. With 2:22, Smoky Hill's going to get the ball back. And they're going to start it on the 20. You know, Smoky Hill really needs a touchdown here. Otherwise, things might start slipping out of their hands.
Well, they got 2 minutes here. A 2-minute drive like this, that would represent some big hustle on their part. 80 yards in 2 minutes doesn't happen very often. I don't know what the number is exactly from Dave Logan, but I'll tell you it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 30%.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Just kidding, I'm wrong. I don't even remember what I was going to say. Pass there on the near side is high, and we have a flag here on the near side of things right by the Miles Purchase Anthony Harris Jr. matchup.
Ben, if you had to hazard a guess, how many flags have we had tonight? I mean, 20?
It has to be at least that. And when you combine everything together, it has to be.
Yeah, with all these offsetting penalties. It's not very common that you have both teams commit a penalty on the same play, and it's happened several times tonight.
It's going to be a penalty on Purchase. So there is a free 10 yards. That's going to help Smoky Hill's cause. By the way, going on right now at I think Legacy Stadium, Cherokee Trail, and Eagle Crest. The Cougars lead the Raptors 43-27. They have 1:18, 1 minute less than we do on their first half. That game is live on Cherry Creek TV if you'd like to bounce over there, but I don't recommend you should. We got a big halftime show coming up for you, as that's going to end up as a gain of 3. And guess what, Matthew? There's a penalty marker on the field.
You know, sports gambling has just been legalized around the nation, Ben, and I feel like
Oh,
if there was gambling on high school football, you could just pretty much safely bet on a penalty every single time.
I think, and you'd be able to take the over on total penalty yards. We talked about it earlier. Obviously, Leslie Richardson III averages.
218.9 passing yards a game.
So, you know, in terms of fantasy quarterbacks, and high school fantasy football doesn't exist for obvious reasons, he would put up so many fantasy points. Now, my fantasy quarterback's Patrick Mahomes. I'm undefeated. I don't know about you, but.
Well, I was undefeated, and then I forgot about my lineup, and I'm pretty rapidly deteriorated.
Here's a look at Leslie Richardson III, 218.9 passing yards a game through his career, 42 passing touchdowns. He's going to approach, he might have crossed it tonight, 4,000 passing yards and then a 62.9 pass completion rate. Wraps it up with a 2019 Chassa All-State honorable mention.
He's 6'3", 200, big guy.
Screen pass there, cross to the 50. And brought up after some forward progress to the 48 on the Cherry Creek side of things. And we're rolling with 90 seconds left in the first half.
And the clock is ticking. I believe they have 2 timeouts. Leslie Richardson, of course, they call him, we don't have this on our slide, so I need to make sure I mention it. They call him the dual threat quarterback because he can run and he can throw. He's a big guy. He can, and he's got great ball vision. We've seen him to take the ball a couple times already tonight. He's kind of like a high school version of Cam Newton.
I hope Cam Newton's doing well.
Oh, yeah, with his COVID diagnosis. Luckily, Leslie Richardson III can't say the same.
Drop back there, and it is going to be almost intercepted, then dropped by Sam Pesnertz.
Sam Pesnertz very close on 2 interceptions tonight. He's going to get the next one. I'm calling it. He's getting the next one.
He was going back in center field, just couldn't come up with the catch.
Of course, because Sam Pesnertz is also a baseball player.
And Matthew Richardson, the third, was Smoky Hill's second leading rusher behind the senior.
Obasanjo Sani.
That's right. So he dual threat, absolutely. I mean, last year with multiple rushing touchdowns. Is going to be wrapped up once again. It's going to be the second sack of the game for Malik Mijika Dumi.
The Jekko Dunmi.
I'm going to get it. I promise. Malik, I'm going to get it once. But, man, he just got straight through, wraps him up.
So that puts him in the neighborhood of 4th and 23rd.
And there's 26 seconds left. So Cherry Creek maybe gets the ball. Maybe Miles Purchase scores, but maybe sets up a long field goal to end the half for Bowdoin.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
The scene is being set quite nicely. But I do say so myself. Take a look at the Colorado scoreboard if we can. Get things going on around the state. Of course, football season in the Centennial State began last night. We'll take a look at the top 10 scoreboard. Last night, Columbine, who obviously lost Cherry Creek the championship last year, began their season perfect, won 39-13 at Rock Canyon. Pomona as well made a semifinal appearance last year, shut out Chaparral 35-0. And all the other games in the top 10 are in progress right now. Looks like it's going to be the punt to the near side. Purchase isn't going to be able to return it. So 20 seconds, and with the ball on the
Very strategic play there, not giving the ball to Miles
Let's see where it gets
Burgess.
walked up. 41. Bowden might be able to show off the leg here to end the first half, but, you know, we've seen Hammond's arm tonight. We've seen the run game work tonight. Lots could happen with 20 seconds left here in the first half.
Well, Cherry Creek's got some yards to gain first before they even give Bowden a chance. I don't know if Dave Logan is ready to put his faith in Bowden just yet. Of course, you know, Bowden might deserve it, but he's also got Julian Hammond and Chase Penry. And we might see Chase Penry go deep again. Lined up on the opposite numbers, close to the Cherry Creek sideline. One-on-one matchup.
Hammond just get a dump off to O'Day Jr. O'Day Jr. to the 50, down to the, now going to get down to the sideline inside the 40.
And we've seen Chase Penry make these awesome catches, but what about that awesome block? He's such a strong physical player. I remember just so many times last season, and even now on this play, just seeing Chase Penry just block his man. He's a wide receiver. That's not something you usually see out of wide receivers.
Some
and
scores
that's a big deal.
around the Centennial League. Grandview leads Arapahoe 24-0 at halftime. Cherokee Trail leads Eagle Crest 43-27 at halftime. 43-27 at halftime, Matthew.
Well, that's a high-scoring game, and I bet they had a situation similar to us. Lots of penalties given the offense, lots of yards. Defense is just, not really warmed up.
Overland, who is in the Centennial League, playing out of league as Hammond's got a throw incomplete on the far sideline. Overland in the Centennial League is playing a non-conference game against Legacy. We do see that from time to time, a rarity non-conference game. Legacy and Fossil Ridge is being thrown in with some Centennial League teams for some non-conference game, but they lead it 10-6 in the second quarter.
Well, just to clarify, for this new league structure in COVID-19, every team will play exactly one out-of-league team. So that means that Cherry Creek's out-of-league team.
The Brewers actually won't. They're going to play 6 in-league games.
I think Overland, right?
No, Overland's in the conference.
Oh, okay. So
Cherry Creek, there's a few schools where Cherry Creek's not going to have to play an out-of-conference game, so all their games are going to happen either at Stutler Bowl Legacy Stadium. Hammond throws to Penry again for the touchdown, but there's flags. There's flags. There's flags everywhere, and zeros on the clock.
Penry with just phenomenal separation there.
Another score for you. Regis Jesuit 34, Mountain Vista 7. Regis Jesuit lost their quarterback. Nico Marchio moves to Arizona.
Yeah, and Nico Marchio, I would say he's famous kind of in the high school population just for how good a quarterback he is. He's a 4-star recruit, which means he's kind of, one in a few kids every year in the nation who's just at the top of his game. And that's a big loss for Regis. I think they're still going to step up to the challenge.
We have 34 on our scoreboard. Apologies for that. I think Cherry Creek's going to have a chance at one more play.
The Cherry Creek took a penalty there. They're back 52 yards from the end zone. These referees are going to need to put some time on the clock.
This might just be, final play of the first half. Let's see if Penry can get open here on the near side once again.
Seen him do it before. He's going to go deep. Yep.
Oh, Hammond's going to run. They're going to run the ball. Oh my goodness, and they get all the way up to the 32. A great play there for the Bruins. But that's going to bring us to the end of our first half. So, at halftime, the Bruins lead at 28-7. And I believe they're going to receive the second half kickoff. We got an entire halftime show coming up on CCSM. We're going to take a quick 30-second break just to compose ourselves. We've been talking for a while now. But stick with us. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Colorado High School football on CCSN is brought to you by 303 Smiles, delivering amazing smiles for our Cherry Creek Bruins. By Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, open till 12 a.m. to feed your victory celebration. Raising Cane's on the northwest corner of Parker and Arapahoe. Paragon Homes. Your home is one of the most important decisions you'll make in your life. Don't trust anyone to care for you. Go Creek. And by Schomp Automotive Group. Visit our showrooms off of Highway C470 in Lucent Street in Highlands Ranch and on Havana Street in Aurora. Bruins for the win. Go Creek.
When the unexpected struck back in March, we did not quite know what to think. Maybe just an extended spring break is what most thought, and that everything would be back to normal soon. We took everything day by day. Well, as the weather got warmer, those days turned into weeks, and eventually those weeks turned into months, and all of a sudden the time for spring sports had come and gone, and another class of seniors had participated in their commencement and were sent off to the next chapter of their lives. We went remote and shared stories on Zoom while comparing favorite snacks. We reminisced by watching classics while in quarantine, as some student athletes took a pause just for one season, and others saw their career come to a close without a culmination. Mask became the norm. 6 feet is still the latest unit of measurement. And while we're all battling a health pandemic, some say that wasn't the only pandemic tearing through our country. We not only stood together, but we stood up for one another. We learned when it was our time to speak, and when it was better just to have open ears. Social distance, privilege, quarantine, systemic, and essential all became words of the summer, and words that are now embedded into our everyday lives because the fight is not over. When the calendar turned to August, it seemed as if the lights would be left off on Friday nights this fall, and that we would wait until spring to kick off another season. But it turns out, it was not quite what it seemed. After weeks of talk, with variances being the most popular word, the A's and Nays were tallied, and 218 schools decided it was time to lace up the cleats and get ready to return to the gridiron. The numbers were crunched and the capacities were approved, with a significantly smaller number of individuals being allowed into stadiums across the state. But how exactly did we get here? We stayed home when we were told, we masked up not only for ourselves but for our neighbors, and we cheered every evening for those who were deemed essential and stayed home from our responsibilities so they could go to theirs. Tonight, the game we all love returns. It might not be as loud. There may not be CCODs roaring out from a section of students who are asking for buses to be started and for those younger students to go home, but there will still be 120 yards of turf, 2 teams now with just 50 players aside, 1 ball, and a community ready to come together both in person and online. So after we spent months and months asking questions, one of them can be answered here tonight. When will football be back? Right now.
Well, hello, friends. It's Benjamin Paris back at you, welcoming you to the Stutler Bowl on the wonderful campus of Cherry Creek High School. You know, guys, as recently as 6 weeks ago, I wasn't confident I'd be able to be here in this position on Friday nights. The world we're living in right now is a world that none of us have ever experienced before, and there were so many uncertainties entering this fall about, well, what will happen when school comes back and for football season as well. All throughout this year, since March, we as a human race have shown our resiliency. We've shown how we can come together, although apart, and get through a situation that was unimaginable come last March. Even though it looked like when the door was shut on a football season this fall, this community and communities all across the state of Colorado never gave up on this fall. I will not be able to go on without recognizing some efforts from some individuals. These include the Colorado High School Activities Association and their board of directors, Colorado Governor Jared Polis and his COVID-19 response team, athletic directors across the state, including Larry Bull and Jason Wilkins, who are a huge reason why we're here tonight, and lastly, families, friends, and student athletes all across the state. You know, we talked about it, and you just saw that powerful video that I got emotional, narrating that, and, it's really more than a football game tonight, and there's a little bit more normalcy, and, it's not super packed out there, but we still have our guys on the field, we still have some fans, and we've already heard it get loud in here. We know for sure that Cherry Creek football is back, and I'm so happy that me and Matthew and our whole crew, Jonathan Vargas is here, Ella Barclay, and none of this happens without Matt Weiss, our advisor. We're so happy to bring you back to Cherry Creek Bruins football. So half number 2 is coming up next. Stick with us. Johnny, was my mic on? We took a look at tonight's game preview presented by Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. For the last 2 years for these two teams, it's been quite eventful. For Smoky Hill, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, they are 18-0 while playing within their league. And with that, they have one playoff win. For the Cherry Creek Bruins, in the last 2 seasons, it is 2 state championship appearances, and they wrapped it all up with a state championship last year. So let's get back to the action. Half number 2 right now on CCSN.
Cherry Creek to receive. That's part of that Dave Logan strategy. Defer, receive in the second half, give yourself some late game momentum.
And here we go. It's going to go on the near side.
Let's kick out.
Was it out on the near side or on the far side?
It was out on this on the near side, close to us, Smoky Hill sideline. When it goes out on the sidelines, typically in the NFL, you take the ball at the 40. I can't say in high school because that rule just doesn't come up very often.
It's all good. So, we got a whole half of football ahead of us. Cherry Creek leads it by 21. We want to thank those of you who stuck around for our halftime show. And the rumor we heard up here is that, there might be a play without a penalty this half. So, that's what our insiders are thinking up here. We got a whole group of them. Highly intelligent, world-class insiders here at CCSN. So,
Cherry Creek's going to get the ball in at 35 as a result of that penalty from kicking it out of bounds.
James Walker's finally going to make an appearance in the game. And after some broken tackles, he'll get a 3-yard gain. But you know what? That was a great play after he broke all those tackles.
Well, yeah, and that's James Walker's debut in this season. That's his first game back. We're excited to see him back. He was so important for the Cherry Creek Bruins last year, and clearly he's important already in this game, getting us a 3-yard gain there. Him and Carlson Tan, I'm sure, are going to work together well moving forward.
So 2nd and 7 coming up for the Bruins. James Walker took him 2 whole halves, but he's finally making an appearance here. The senior, number 5 in the backfield to the right of Hammond right now. 2 wide receivers joining Walker. We got a whole lot of linemen. And Hammond's going to drop back instead. Prockett's collapse. He's going to get to the near side, otherwise he's going to get sacked. He's going to throw it out. And there's going to be a flag on the play.
Smoky Hill sideline's fired up here.
Few questions there. One, was his foot out of bounds when he threw that? That's number 1. Otherwise, it's going to be intentional grounding. And we're taking a look at it now.
It's going to be a 5-yard penalty in total, bring him back to 2nd and 12. Wow, credit to the Smoky Hill defensive line there. That was superb pass rush.
Happy to have you, half number 2. Matthew Anderson, Benjamin Paris. So happy to have Friday night football and now a 3rd and 22 coming up for the Bruins.
Of course, not just this Friday night, Ben, but next Friday night too.
And the one after that. We've got 6 straight. Actually, next week might be a Thursday night.
Is it?
We have 6 straight weeks of Cherry Creek Bruins football coming at you from here in Legacy Stadium. Pocket claps again. Here's Hammond. Almost gets rid of it. It's tipped. It cannot be intercepted, but a great pass defense there. And the Smoky Hill defense is coming out hot out of the locker room.
So that'll take him to 4th down. That is a key stop for Smoky Hill, right? Cherry Creek's been planning for this since the beginning of the game. They're going to receive the ball at the beginning of the half, and what does Smoky Hill do? They stop them. And that gives them Smoky Hill some momentum. With 11 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, they got an opportunity to score, and they're going to need to score if they want to come back.
Some great camera work there to see that tip. And here comes a bunt. Ooh, a good one there. Fair catch. Called for, but not taken, and Cherry Creek will down it at the 44, maybe 45 of Smoky Hill. So Smoky Hill now has the short field.
Smoky Hill with the short field. You know, that's something that we've talked about a lot, and some Dave Logan's analytics-driven offense really seems to pay attention to is, you know, it's so important to get a short field because it's so much easier to score, you know, when you only have to go 50 yards than when you have to go, you know, one of those longer distances, 70, 80, 90.
Matthew, we talk a lot about Dave Logan's analytics, and, you know, when we have some more time, I'd love to talk about some more and, you know, some more of that math. Richardson. Close to the near side, was going to be hauled in, but then a big hit there from Tyler Tolbert. What a hit there from Tolbs. Let's see if we can get a replay of that one.
Tyler Tolbert, of course, from our very own CCSN.
He just stopped Davian Norman from making a big reception. Oh, he didn't quite get it. Man, that was a huge hit from Tyler. That was awesome.
I told Tyler before the game, remember to hit stick a man, okay?
He thought it was nothing. Like it was nothing. Christian Hammond, the sophomore, like that one as well. And a sack there for the Cherry Creek Bruins. 2 big, heavy hitting plays by the Cherry Creek defense.
You know, that can wear a team down. The Smoky Hill defense and offense are going to have to stay resilient tonight if they want to keep up. They're going to have to play mentally tough, and they've proven themselves as a mentally tough team over the past couple seasons, but it's harder to be mentally tough when you're only, you know, 3 practices into or 3 weeks of practice into a game, into a season.
And going into tonight, for when a lot of these Smoky Hill players have been here, they've been perfect. But they've also never played Cherry Creek in the last 2 years.
All right, and a timeout there for Smoky. After those 2 big hits, I think their coaches just want to give them a chance to take a breather, recover. Ben, you asked for a little bit about that math. Ben likes it when I get the TI-84 out and do some analytics. When we look historically at games at high school football games in these situations, it turns out that the team that's up by 21 at the beginning of the half tends to win about 99% of the time. So Smoky Hill, definitely the underdog here. Absolutely they can come back. They've proven their ability to come back over the past couple seasons.
And yep, we take a look at those last 2 seasons. Once again, 18-0 in league play, and that 1 league win came over Overland, who's now in the conference. So really, with all due respect, the bottom half of this conference is going to be just as competitive as the top half, because when Cherry Creek and Grandview get together and Cherry Creek and Arapahoe get together, this might be one of the most competitive conferences in the state, right up there with the Jeffco League.
Absolutely, and it's an honor for both of these teams to be in the Centennial League, and it's really just a representation of the tremendous effort, work ethic, and skill of the players in the Cherry Creek School District and, of course, in Arapahoe as well.
And Cherry Creek is in its prime right now, and you see ways because it's a high school football program. But they're priming because if they make it back to Mile High, we're talking 3 state championship appearance in as many years. Richardson back to the near side. It's caught, but then brought down. I think that tackle is going to go to Tyler Tolbert. It has to. 4th and 2 coming up for Smoky Hill.
Cherry Creek with more strategic subs.
There it was. It was Tyler with the tackle.
Cherry Creek's just subbed out. Oh. Cherry Creek has just subbed out 2 players, subbed out Tyler and Charles for 2 more linebackers. Really strategic with the subs here.
Smoky Hill will go for it. He's going to look to his near side. Tackle is going to be close to the line to the gain. It looks like it's going to be enough.
That, of course, Kamari Lewis Stallworth. We saw him actually on defense the past couple of drives. He's kind of just an all-around top-tier player. Playing cornerback, playing wide receiver. He's kind of their Iron Man player. And one of those people that we talked about as being a very important part of Leslie Richardson III's receiving core.
And on this depth chart as well, he's listed as a quarterback, so we haven't seen it, but he might have an arm as well.
I wouldn't be surprised with how versatile he's been so far.
So they're on the Cherry Creek side of the field, their first possession of the second half. Richardson's going to drop back over to the near side. He's got some defenders in his area. Pump fakes! Was that complete?
Oh my.
It's holding it complete for what? Like a 4 or 5 yard gain, but he had the pump fake is what faked me out, Matthew.
Well, I think he was planning to throw it, and then Malik just jumped up and almost swatted it, so he decided he was going to hold on to it for just a second more. That's part of his great vision. I mean, just watch him navigate around that backfield, around that tricky pocket. He's got 4 guys closing in on him, and he's got that slow heartbeat, that slow breath. He finds a way to make a connection with the receiver. Really great vision. The receiver coming back to him. The receiver's got good feet as well.
Richardson's going to drop back to pass again, this time on the near side. That one's caught! And it's going to be good for the score! Oh my goodness!
Anthony Harris Jr. from the Smoky Hill Buffaloes.
Wow, way to shake off some defenders and get in for the score. And that makes it a 15-point game with the PAT pending.
Smoky Hill sideline. Smoky Hill fans are amped up here, and boy, do they deserve it. That was a tremendous play from Anthony Harris Jr., him connecting with Leslie Richardson III. Some of that great vision we talked about. I mean, really, really well placed, and of course, Anthony Harris Jr. breaking that tackle after the catch.
And he got away from Christian Hammond, Hammond, Julian's brother, another two-sport athlete, plays basketball as well. But the sophomore defensive back, and we got a flag on the play, and this is more one of those more administrative types of errors, if you know what I mean, because that's another kind of first week kind of jitter because you haven't practiced, getting the kicking team on there for more than a week.
Yeah, it's hard to blame these players because they've had 3 weeks of practice. It sounds really silly, but when you've had 3 weeks of practice, you forget your formations, you forget, am I on the kicking team? These tricky parts. It looks like they only had 10 players on the field. They were trying to sub one in. They got confused. Maybe they had some sort of false start.
Extra point is up and good. So 28-14 with 7:47, like the airplane, left here in quarter number 3. 2-score game. So now what? Cherry Creek, what do you think you got to do, Matthew?
Well, if you're Cherry Creek, you got to stop this momentum right now. Smoky is a momentum-based team. They have a lot of weight, and once they get rolling, they keep rolling. We've seen that from them for the past 18 games. And they play good, smart football. Cherry Creek is going to have to play good, even more smart football if they're going to want to be competing and stopping this momentum. Cherry Creek has an opportunity here on the kick return and to get some yards. Smoky kickers can't really keep kicking it out of bounds. That gives them 15 free yards. According to Dave Logan's analytics-driven offense, that's another 10, 20, 30% added to their odds to score. So got to make sure you drive it deep. Number 1 for the Smoky Hill Buffaloes really does have a leg, and he absolutely can do that.
Also, for those of you who are watching us and are missing the NBA Finals, the Heat lead the Lakers 86-80. What a booming kick there. Wow. That one's going to earn some applause here from the Smoky Hill section.
So Cherry Creek with 80 yards to go. Last time they couldn't score here. I think they need to drive it quite a ways down the field if they're going to be slowing the Smoky Hill momentum.
You know which matchup I like? And I know we have some Chase Penry fans watching right now, but it's going to be him up on the top side, right around the 20-yard line numbers. I love that matchup.
Got a lot of blockers. Probably going to go run. Yep.
James Walker with some speed.
James Walker can just process that ball information so quickly. You see, he's got guys falling at his feet, he hurdles them. He's got guys coming in from the left, coming in from the right, he dodges them. With him here in the second half, you know, Smoky didn't have to deal with him for the first half. That's going to be an additional variable they're going to have to adapt to.
He got through a lot of tacklers there. Found the holes.
That's that Cherry Creek ball vision. If Smoky can keep up the pass rush they've had on these past 2 drives, I really think they could serve to stop the momentum here. 4 pass options.
Lots of rushers coming. Hammond coming to the near side. Trying to find a receiver. It's intercepted! Brought back inside the 30, but it's Kamari Lewis Stallsworth again. There's a big momentum play, Matthew.
Absolutely. Smoky Hill just took their momentum and doubled it. They are a boulder rolling down a cliff. And that's Kamari Lewis Stallworth. We actually saw him go out a few plays ago with an ankle, sort of a twisted ankle. I was worried he wasn't going to be able to come back. He came back on defense, right? He's this Iron Man player, defense and offense, makes a big play, catches the interception, and has some yards after catch. That's a big, big deal.
Julian Hammond, 8 interceptions last year. That's going to be his first one of the season, but that's not something we see a lot from the senior quarterback.
No, and of course it's due to the really strong Smoky pass rush. That just forces the interception, forces Julian Hammond to have to make a decision.
He's going to take it himself, gets around a tackler, and that gets tackled inside the 20. Smoky Hill is rolling, everybody.
I thought it was feedback, it was a fan.
So it's going to be a Buffalo's first down. They're on the 16 now. We're not even halfway through quarter number 3, and they are in striking distance, to say the least.
They don't call him a dual threat for nothing. He's 6'3", 210, breaking those tackles. He's got an offer from Cornell. That's a big deal because the Ivies don't actually offer athletic scholarships. So that is just really a testament to how strong a player he is.
This one going to go back to the corner of the end zone. And it falls incomplete after a battle there with Christian Hammond in the area.
Christian Hammond, a sophomore. You know, it's very rare that we see starting sophomores outside of the special teams. And, of course, he's a starting sophomore in the defensive backcourt. So a lot to look forward to in terms of defensive pass coverage over the next couple of years for Cherry Creek with Christian Hammond.
It looked like Anthony Harris had a lot of height on him on that one, a few more inches, but couldn't come down with it. It's going to bring up 2nd and 10 now on the 16. This one's going to be a run, but he's going to be brought down. So now it's coming up on 3rd down.
Well, that puts them in a pretty tricky spot in the red zone. So if I look here at the statistics, when it was 3rd and 10 plus, 90% of the time, Smoky Hill went pass or screen. So I think we'll see that here. Of course, if they want to score, they're gonna need to run a pass or a screen, or more than likely, to be able to get all these 11 yards.
It's a great analytic, Matthew.
Straight from Dave Logan.
3rd and 11 on the 17. It's going to be look to the end zone, and it is incomplete in the back quarter.
Miles Purchase, a 3-star recruit, almost came down with it.
Lots of begs for flags, but there is none to be found, which might be a rarity in this game. But now we're going to have 4th and long. So now what? Because it looks like field goal unit, but field goal doesn't do much.
Well, a field goal puts them up by 3, lets them keep their momentum. I'd say that's probably the big thing, right? Just getting another score helps you preserve your momentum, whereas if they weren't able to accomplish it here, their momentum would kind of stall out. And as I said before, Smoky Hill is a momentum-based team. Once they get rolling, they keep rolling. But so it's important for them, and as Tom Donnell, their coach, knows, to keep their momentum rolling.
So going to spot it at the 24 is where the holder is.
Ooh.
And move that back 5, so it's going to be at 29, looking at a 39-yard field goal attempt, which is a considerable distance.
That really is a pretty considerable distance for a high school kicker. And it looks like they're going to make some personnel changes. Smoky is? Yeah, Smoky's making a personnel change. They're
The
taking
offense coming back on the field,
Yeah.
and there's 15 seconds on the play clock and running. And I think Smoky Hill's going to be forced to take a timeout.
They just got too confused. That's a tricky communication play.
And that's their second timeout of the half. They're down by 14, and we have 5:30 left in the quarter.
I'll tell you, that delay of game penalty is a real kicker. Because
I can't believe you just said that.
it was an accident, I promise. Because, because Smoky really had that opportunity to make that field goal there, and now they're going to have to go for a 4th and 16. 4th and 16, the odds are just not in your favor, even in the red zone here. So that penalty right there is going to cost them some momentum. Smoky could get this. That would be incredible. Kamari Lewis-Stallworth is limping on the sidelines. Does seem to have a twisted ankle, although that hasn't stopped him from being a breakout player tonight.
It's quite interesting, actually. So the offense is out there. It's 4th and 11. They had the field goal.
4th and 16.
4th and 16, sorry. The field goal unit was out there. They're now off the field after the timeout and the personnel confusion. It's going to drop back. Being rushed. It's caught! Inside the 5 and down to the 2! The 4th and long gamble pays off for Smoky Hill, and it'll be a first and goal opportunity down by 14.
Well, Ben, that
I know where you're going with
you
this.
know we're big fans of math here at the Cherry Creek Sports Network, and there's a simple equation for momentum, which is mass times velocity. And Smoky Hill has just been picking it up on the velocity so far. They're really giving themselves some momentum, hoping for a score here. They got 4 tries. They've been in this position before. Last time they weren't successful.
They're going to go to the pass. Looking for the right side. He has a receiver open. It's going to air it up and back out of the end zone.
And that receiver calling for the ball, Leslie Richardson III, missed that look, or he saw something we in the booth didn't see here.
I think I see a flag on the field, though.
Yeah, there is a flag, that's for sure.
I know that for sure. It's going to be on the offense.
These penalties, man, these penalties. So that's going to put him back.
16-yard line, I think.
Looks. Yep, that's a 16, all right. That's a real kicker.
Well, here we go. 4:55 is what they have. They're down by 2 touchdowns. They need to score more than ever. Back to the near side.
Oh.
It's going to fall incomplete. A big hit there from Christian Hammond. He's getting a lot of looks tonight.
Christian Hammond got beat on the coverage, but he made up for it with a big hit on the receiver after the play, causing him to drop the ball. That's the importance of physicality in football, and it's one thing Christian Hammond really seems to have, even as a 10th grader.
So Leslie Richardson and the Smoky Hill offense trying to get back into this game. They're down by 2 touchdowns. And they have the momentum their way after the interception.
You're going to look for number 12 on the Smoky Hill to be first look.
Pockets collapsing. Brought down by Gus Salinkis. Richardson's brought down. And that's going to bring up 3rd down and long for Smoky Hill.
So they've kind of put themselves back into the domain of field goal position. They really would more greatly benefit from a touchdown here, as I think any football literate viewer would know. They have a lot of deep passes in their playbook. Now, they don't have a lot of passes that are in their playbook that are in between deep passes and red zone deep passes.
So Richardson looking back to the near side again. And it is Incomplete, but guess what, Matthew?
Penalty.
We got a flag down.
That was pretty egregious pass interference, I have to say. To Leslie Richardson's the third credit, he was not open. He was not going to catch that ball, but he knew by passing that direction that the refs would have to call a pass interference penalty.
Pretty a high IQ play.
Well, Leslie Richardson is a pretty high IQ player. There's no reason that he's being recruited to Cornell, after all.
Half the distance to the goal, so they won't get the first down on 3rd and 20. But now they have 3rd and 10, and we saw them convert on a 4th and 11 earlier on this drive.
Yeah, 4th and 11 with yards to spare. They can absolutely do this. The tricky part here is going to be managing that maximum distance, right? They have an end zone. They can't go further than 20 yards, so they can't send any of these deep routes. It's going to come down to the Cherry Creek defensive backcourt to hold off these passers, these receivers.
He's looking left. Pockets collapsing. Zalink is trying to chase him down. Throws. Incomplete. So now they have another 4th and long coming up, and, you know, I think they probably have some confidence on this play.
Well, yeah, I suppose I was mistaken. That really came down to the Cherry Creek pass rush. That defensive line, Gus Zalinskas and Arden Walker and Malik, just really strong players who can bust through that Smoky Hill O-line. Smoky Hill's O-line has got to stay resilient, got to give Leslie Richardson a few more seconds if they want him to be able to throw those touchdown passes. Leslie Richardson the third and the kicking team both going onto the field now. Leslie Richardson the third coming off the field. Seems pretty frustrated.
And Smoky Hill's now taking their 3rd time out of the half, and we still have 3 minutes and 50 seconds left here in quarter number 3.
Well, yeah, that could come back to bite them later because they got 15 minutes and 50 seconds left of total football to play. And those last couple minutes, oftentimes you need those timeouts to stall yourself, to buy yourself some time so that you can call these plays, make these plays when there's only a little bit of time left on the clock.
Actually, yeah, can we go? Matthew, I can't lie, I love having the Cherry Creek Marching Band being able to join us tonight. Something I'm also looking forward to is when we see Overland, those guys, now there's a marching band.
Well, both of those schools, Cherry Creek and Overland, take a lot of pride in their marching band. I can tell you, I'm often on campus, well after school is over, and Cherry Creek Marching Band is practicing down by the elementary school, and man, their horns and their drums carry. They're really fun to listen to.
I love that type of music. That's my favorite thing about Folsom Field as well, when I go to CU games. Richardson gets a throw again. That was like a pinball machine. Lots of tips. It might have gone off a helmet because it came back fast. But it's going to be a turnover on downs, so a little bit of a momentum killer for Smoky Hill.
That really cost Smoky. They lost two timeouts, actually, and they didn't end up scoring any points. I believe in Smoky's mental power. I think they can put themselves back in the headspace that they need to get that strong momentum. Leslie Richardson the third here.
I can't lie, now I see it. I think that went right off the helmet of Anthony Harris Jr.
I think it did.
They just hit him square in the helmet because that came back quick. That had some velo on it.
By gosh, I was worried that Leslie Richardson the third was walking over to the injury table, but he was just going to grab some water. Stay hydrated.
James Walker with the carry now. We'll get up to about the 12-yard line for a short gain.
So we haven't seen Carlson Tan the third at all in this second half. So I think they were doing some trickery. Put Carlson Tan in the third in, let the defense learn about Carlson Tan, get used to Carlson Tan, and then just as soon as the defense has learned him in the end of the second quarter, switch him out at the beginning of the third with James Walker, two equally capable running backs.
That happened a little bit last year when Miles Purchase got thrown into the mix on offense towards the end of the season, and he arguably, besides the interception at the end, made the biggest play of the game in that Pomona game to put Cherry Creek in the state championship. So there's always tricks up this team's sleeve. Hammond is collapsing, but he completes a pass to Helm. Helm will get up to the 25, stiff arm, and get all the way up to about the 27 or 8 for a first down. Hammond was rushed there, but he still got the pass away.
And they say Hammond is a standout athlete, and he really is. Look how calm he is in that pocket, and of course Gunnar Helm making that key reception. Gunnar Helm's knowing what's going through Julian Hammond's mind. He's stopping, giving Julian Hammond a way out of that tricky, sticky situation. Hammond, of course, does a great job. You know what Dave Logan says? He says he's got a slow heartbeat. He's just so calm in these really troubling situations. Well done there, connecting Julian Hammond to Gunnar Helm.
That gives Cherry Creek a first down on their 30. We have 2:30 left in quarter number 3. Hammond to pass once again. Gonna throw short, and there's a flag on the field.
Of course, that flag coming after the throw. Some heightened emotions here from the crowd. The stakes are high for this Smoky team. This is their opportunity to prove themselves after 18-0 in league play in the Metro 10 division.
A little bit of a high tackle there. Not quite sure what the call's going to be, though. Let's listen in once again to our official. It's going to be hands to the face on the defense. It's also going to be a face mask. Well, contrary to popular belief here, it was indeed a face mask, as you saw on the replay. So that'll bring Cherry Creek, 15 yards forward and give them an automatic first down.
And now they've put themselves at the 50-yard line, giving themselves even better and better odds to make it all the way down the field. That was key for them last year. I think through the first 3 home games, Cherry Creek not even once scored when they started a drive behind the 50.
Clock's running. We have 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Cherry Creek has the ball on their own 49. Hammond's looking deep. It's Penry. Oh, and he can't connect. Penry's asking for a flag. He won't get it. There was 3 defenders in the area.
And Penry just blows past him. That's what you get when you have a 3-star college recruit headed to the Colorado Buffs.
Let's take a look once again. Hammond, plenty of time, saw his receiver, and really just let that one go. And Penry just couldn't hold it in. Great replay work there once again from our crew. You know, my favorite part is when that CCSN flies in and out. Pretty cool stuff. Back to the action. It's James Walker. He has open space to the 40, down to the 35, and all the way to the 30, and inside of that. So that's going to be a big gain for Walker.
I feel like we see plays like that out of Walker very often. These long, long plays, him just dodging and hurdling and spinning around all these defenders.
Take a look at the replay. Had lots of open space to his left, so great work by the guys up front. And then you see Domingo up there. He got upfield. He was right behind him, so great work by those guys up front, leading the way and leading him to the 27-yard line.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, this offensive line, this Bruins offensive line really knows how to hustle. They can keep up with their running backs, provide some blocks downfield. That's a very valuable asset as a running back.
Flag on the play. Play clock is at 0.
Hammond seemed a bit confused there. He had his motion set. He was ready to go.
I feel like I did see some motion there. Ooh, little bit of motion there.
Oh, that looks like...
Oh my, they're going to call the encroachment before the delay of game.
Yeah, these fans in the audience here are pretty riled up about that call. Hard to blame them because it was a bit delayed, but encroachment there.
Clock's running. We have a minute left.
Good call by the refs.
In the quarter, 1st and 5 coming up for the Bruins on the 22. They're almost back in the red zone where they've been nearly perfect tonight.
Helm lined up out in the Z position. That's an odd spot to see a tight end.
Joined by Caden Caswell and Chase Penry. Walker's going to get the ball again. He's got to get to 15, turn the corner, and get, I think, inside the 10. So he's going to have at least a first down.
Well, and you see Gunnar Helm get all the way across the field. He goes from the numbers on the near side all the way to the hashes on the far side, delivering blocks, opening up room for James Walker. That's one of the great things about Gunnar Helm. He can get you those blocks, and he gets them to you downfield. He's a big guy, 6'6", 225. He can deliver those blocks.
If you look at those first 5 to 7 yards that Walker's running, it should say has wide open space if he's going left or right.
Yeah, well, he's got the blocks.
20 seconds left. There's 13 on the play clock, so we're going to have one more play in the quarter. First and goal, they're on the 9. They have 5, now 4 on the play clock. 3, 2, and they just get it off. He's going to look left. Whew. Wow, almost an incredible reception by Home. 3 seconds left, incomplete pass stops the clock. So
Nearly snagged.
we're going to have one more chance. It's second and goal from the 9, and this will be the final play of the third quarter. I want to thank all of you once again for joining us here tonight on CCSN. Wish you could be in Stutler with us, but this might just be the next thing. Student production here tonight. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. Hammond looking back to pass. He's rushed out to his left. He's going to take it himself.
Hurdle.
He just got up. He's going to be marked, I think, at the 4-yard line, and that brings us to the end of the third quarter here from Stutler Bowl. We'll take a quick look at the replay as we'll get ready for the fourth. So the teams will switch side, and Cherry Creek was in the red zone, so they're going all the way back down the field. But wow, let's take a look at this hurdle. Wow, he hurdles himself out of bounds. But he got the yardage. So the Cherry Creek has third and goal coming up on the Cherry Creek Sports Network.
You know, Ben, we've noticed it's kind of a late game here. Normally, I feel like we're well into the fourth quarter by 9:20 at night, but not tonight. I think we can blame the penalties for that. So many penalties tonight. Just made the game longer and longer.
Take a look at the 8 other games coming up in Colorado 5-8 tonight. Highlands Ranch leads Lakewood 7-6. They're only in the second quarter, so maybe that game hasn't been updated, but Legend defeats Mesa Ridge 42-0. Grandview keeps their foot on the gas. It's 38-0 over Arapahoe in the fourth quarter. Smoky Hill Cherry Creek is your game here. Bruins lead it by 14. Cherokee Trail 43, Eagle Crest 27. Legacy 13, Overland 10. They're in the third quarter. And Fossil Ridge beat Horizon 21-14. Third and goal coming up for the Cherry Creek Bruins.
Probably looking to pass here. I would if I had 3 4-star recruits.
Hammond looking to his right. Out of the pocket. It's caught! What a throw on the move, and it is Chase Penry again for the score.
Chase Penry there really finds a way to get open, to confuse the defensive coverage there. They're playing zone. A lot of things are happening all at once.
So just 5 seconds into quarter number 4, Cherry Creek extends the lead to 3 touchdowns. It's with a PAT pending. It is 34-14. Bowden Page. Do we have any upgrades, Matthew?
He's getting pretty close, isn't he?
5th extra point of the night is up, and I believe it's good.
This poor marching band keeps almost getting taken out.
That was a great snag by the ball boy out there.
Yeah, I believe that's one of our principal's children, or one of our vice principals.
They got hands, and they all play football together, obviously at a lower level, but man, those guys have hands.
Yeah, they really do. They got all this practice. Catching balls in the back of the end zone from Cherry Creek kickers.
You know, Matthew, I can't lie. I used to play out on this field quite a while back. It was flag football.
Flag football, of course.
But I would watch J.K. Scott practice on this field. I always thought that I wanted to be a kicker, and then I kind of lost the genetic lottery, to say the least. I embrace that, though. I embrace that. 11:55 is where we stand in the fourth quarter. Bruins to kick off here, up by 3 touchdowns. Matthew, what does Smoky Hill got to do? Just what do they got to do?
Well, Ben, it's pretty simple, I suppose. I guess they have to score at minimum 3 touchdowns and a field goal to stay up here if they want to come back. They're in a squib kick here. If that was intentional, I don't know.
Up to the 34 is where Smoky Hill will start this drive. Not quite sure what happened there, Matthew.
That's relatively good field positioning for Smoky. You know, I recently learned the Smoky motto, which is Hill Yeah.
I
or
love
Smoky
that.
Hill.
I saw that. I've seen that on Twitter this week because, you know, as you prepare, the hype's building. I saw that this week. I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Much more unique than SCO Boss because obviously that's what they're using up in Boulder. But the fact that they can put their own turn on it is excellent. This pass is aired up and incomplete.
They're in a tricky situation here, and they need to remember that they can't get desperate. Teams have come back from 3 touchdown deficits with 4 quarters to go, but they don't come back making 40-yard pass plays.
Second and 10, 35-yard line. We are just 14 seconds into the quarter. I can't wait till the stats come out, probably Monday, maybe Sunday. We got fall break approaching. I'd love to see what the penalty numbers are.
Oh, my gosh. I started keeping track, and then I forgot a couple, and I just decided it was kind of pointless. There's too much energy to spend with how many penalties we have had tonight.
It's going to be encroachment on the defense. We've seen a lot of that tonight.
I mean,
And is it really happening, or do you think these refs are being strict?
No, I think it's really happening, Ben, and it's hard to blame him with 3 weeks of practice. I said it before, it sounds silly, but you forget the rules, you forget, you know, you've only lined up for a play, I don't know, 50 to 100 times, and just everything isn't fleshed out in your mind. You don't have that same muscle memory.
Gonna roll out here to the near side. Spin move up to the 45. Gonna be close to the first down.
Leslie Richardson III stiff-arming a Creek linebacker. It's Ed Pilato. Ed Pilato, one of those rising juniors also. We've seen a lot of promise from him.
All right, 11:20. Clock's rolling, and they do give him a 1st and 10. So Smoky Hill still has some momentum left. They've got almost a whole quarter to work with, down by 3 touchdowns. Richardson the third. Pass is going to be short. Tyler Tolbert will end up with the ball, but it bounced first. But I hear that there's a flag on the play. Roughing the passer is going to be the call. Let's see if I can take a look. We got the replay. Ooh, that was awfully close.
Yeah.
He did let go of the ball, but awfully close.
Well, let's keep our quarterback safe, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you have that gray area, it's up to the referee's discretion.
And obviously, priority this season, especially because it's a short season. You want these guys to be able to play their entire season if it ends up being a full 9 games for the teams that go to the championship.
Absolutely. These are high school players. You got to keep them healthy. You know, they have other commitments, academic commitments, for example. Got to stay up with. Can't stay up if you're not healthy.
Pass over the middle is going to be dropped. Is it a fumble or a drop? It's going to be a drop. Did Tyler Tolbert end up with the ball again?
Our very own Tyler Tolbert
like
being
magnet.
quick off the drop.
It's
you
like
can see him disappointed that that wasn't a fumble and it was an incomplete
All
pass.
right, here's my week 1 prediction. I always got to do one of these. By the end of week 6, Tyler Tolbert's got to have at least 1 interception.
I sure hope so. You know, he's such a nice guy. I've been his friend for a long time since middle school, and it's so great to work with him at CCSN as well.
He has such a great demeanor.
Uh-huh.
Just such a great guy to be around, especially for those guys on the field. Next year, you know he's going to be a leader of this team. 11:01, 2nd and 10. Richardson the third takes the snap. And looks like the pocket was collapsing. Arden Walker's going to try to chase him down, and there's a flag on the field. Gus Zelinkas' helmet is off for the 2nd time. He's up and fine. I can't believe it. I mean, I can because it's been happening all game, but especially because the helmet coming off. We didn't see that like once last year, and it's happened to Gus twice tonight.
Yeah, I think I said this at like the beginning of the 2nd quarter. Oh, we're starting to see the penalties like sort of wind down as the players are getting more used to playing. And the exact opposite has been true. I mean, last 3 plays have all been penalties, yeah?
So it's going to be 2nd and 20 now from the 50-yard line for Smoky Hill.
After a holding penalty.
Gus Zelinkus not present on the field. I think he's got to have a play out after that.
After losing his helmet. That sounds very familiar. His younger brother, Hank Zelinskis, also a starting sophomore on the field. Hank comes from that same football family. Their dad played center at UCLA.
Pass to the left. Tipped by Miles Purchase. If you think about this, we got the Purchase brothers, we got the Hammond brothers, we got the Zelinkus brothers. Do we have anyone else? As far as these football families go on this team.
I'm sure we have our fair share of brothers who are, graduated.
Yeah, for
that,
sure.
That I'm not thinking of right
for
now.
sure.
But definitely, football runs in the family for many of these Cherry Creek football teams.
And for two of them, they play basketball together as well.
Yeah, Julian Hammond comes from a family where both of his parents played basketball at Loyola Marymount.
Screen pass. Try to turn the corner, juke back, gets across the 45.
And just to tack on to Julian again, the original Julian the first, was
on the Denver Rockets.
Yeah. Some time ago, the modern day Nuggets. For those who don't know who the Denver Rockets were.
So let me tell you, my dad never asked me who Julian Hammond was. He said, "Is that Julian Hammond's, son or grandson?" Because my dad watched the Denver Rockets long ago enough.
Yeah, if you Google Julian Hammond's grandfather actually comes up. So basketball definitely runs in the family.
That's awesome. There's some awesome stories on this team. Miles Purchase back to get the punt. Not a great one. Oh, but is he going to pick it up? He is. Oh, and he's down right away at the 15. The stats are going to be significantly lower after week 1 last year, where, was Santa Margarita the first game last year?
I don't remember exactly.
And
I just
Santa
remember
Margarita
being blown
game,
away.
He runs the first touchdown back, or no, I think he ran the first kickoff back, and then he got a pick 6 right after that. I mean, in the first 5 minutes of the game, all you need to know was that Miles Purchase was on the field.
Yeah, it used to be the Miles Purchase show at Stutler Bowl.
It is. You love to see it on Friday nights.
So
9:40.
Cherry Creek's really just got to draw out the clock here, give Smoky as little time as they can to come back. That would be the strategic move.
Hammond with the handoff to Walker. If I see it correctly, he's going to get to the 20, up to the 25. Should be good enough for a first down.
James Walker just blows me away. He just keeps going. He just keeps finding holes in the defense, navigating through them. He can switch off his feet so quickly.
So another first down for the Bruins. We'll take another look here. It's Walker once again. He's had himself quite a second half after pretty quiet first.
Well, of course, he wasn't in the first half at all, and that was that strategic move. Cherry Creek taking up plenty of time here on this play clock.
They're now down to the last 5 seconds of the play clock. The handoff to Walker once again. He's going to get up. That might be another 10-yard gain. It's going to be pretty dang close. Maybe just short.
Cherry Creek Bruins were set with 15 seconds to go on the play clock. They didn't call it until under 5 seconds left. Each one of those 10 seconds is another play that Smoky Hill could have the opportunity to, is another play that Smoky Hill is losing, basically, later in the game. And another play for the Cherry Creek Bruins to sort of stifle the Smoky Hill momentum and Smoky Hill's chances at a comeback here.
8:20 is now left. There's 5 seconds on the play clock. Snap off, Hammond dropping back, looking to pass. Complete for the first down and more. And I think it's Tyler Dvorak, the senior tight end, with the reception.
And we're starting to see some players sub in who are ordinarily not really in the game. This is part of Dave Logan's, I like to call it meta gameplay, right? He plays the larger picture. He's not trying to win today's game tonight, but also future games by, subbing in players who could use a few extra reps, use some game experience. Even thinking to future seasons, he's like, I want to get some of these young guys some action so that they kind of know what to expect over the next couple years.
It's a little different with the shortened sideline and rosters, but yeah, he does that a lot. Hammond, another handoff to, I think, Walker.
Just keeps going.
He's getting consistently 9 or 10 yards on everyone. I can't wait to see his yards per carry on Monday as well. Now inside 8 minutes.
And who knows how successful he would have been if he started the first quarter. But putting him in at the second half really meant that the Smoky Hill defense got used to Carlson Tan, adjusted to Carlson Tan, and then completely ditched their Carlson Tan strategy, moving over to having to adjust now to James Walker, who's just a very different player.
But Tana's a sophomore playing entire first half. By his senior year, he's going to be very set to go. Inside 7 minutes now, it's going to be another handoff. This time they wrap him up behind the line of scrimmage. So we'll have a 3rd and short coming up for the Bruins. Beautiful night here in Greenwood Village, Matthew.
Yeah, beautiful night. And at this rate, with all these penalties, it might seem to turn into the morning, because this game has just been drawn out so long by all these penalties.
The nights will get cooler as we go on. They always do.
Still such a fair temperature, such a good temperature for football.
All right, 6:15 left. Hammond is now out of the game. It's Marte Russell in at quarterback. He's the sophomore.
So if you'll remind me, Ben, what happened to our old backup quarterback, Cooper Katsky?
So Cooper, I believe, went off to play club baseball, and I know he's on a trip right now. I think he's in Arizona somewhere. But Cooper went to pursue his baseball career.
Yeah, such a gifted athlete in so many different sports. Good for him pursuing baseball. Of course, we have a great quarterback in Marte Russell. He's a sophomore.
Marte Russell. We got some Marte Russell fans watching, I know that. And now he's got a chance with inside 6 minutes. He's going to take it himself. Oh, he got through the line quickly. Marte to the 30, down to the 20, and then he's wrapped up inside the 20, but a great run there from Marte Russell.
Number 10, Marte Russell on the quarterback.
What a play from a backup quarterback. Well done by him.
He bolted through that offensive line. Let's take a look. Wow, straight through, almost untouched. And now when his time comes, perhaps next year when Hammond graduates, he looks to be much more mobile.
Yeah, well, these dual threat quarterbacks are really important in high school football because they keep the defense on their toes. You know, these players, they're student athletes, they don't have a whole lot of time to learn the opposing offense. And when the opposing offense has two aspects to it, both running and passing, which are really strong, it's even more difficult to adjust.
Flags on the play. Play clock is at 0, so I think it's to be a delay of game from a little bit of mismanagement from the sophomore quarterback, but that's okay.
Yeah, this is what it's all about for Dave Logan, getting him some experience in a game before he has to actually play some real high-stakes games moving down the road in his high school football career.
1st and 15 is what the Bruins have under quarterback Marte Russell leading the way now. He's going to roll off to the near side, find a receiver, and get within 5 yards of the first down. That one's going to be good to Caden Caswell. He's the senior.
So 4:41 here to go. Cherry Creek's done a really good job of just drawing out as much time as they can. Taking 5 minutes off the clock now. They've purposefully been trying to take as much time off the clock. Strategic move. Strategic move.
Marte Russell under center once again. He's going to hand it off to Walker, and he is going to be tackled. So Bruins have another 3rd down conversion. This could be a good learning lesson for Marte.
Absolutely, and Marte's got a couple of newer receivers out there on the field. I noticed one is Ben Gruber, wide receiver junior. You know, a couple of these players, it's important to get them some exposure. Making a third down conversion here would be a big play for them. I'm confident that they can do it. I'm also confident that the Smoky Hill defense has the ability to shut down this offense. They would really need that if they're trying to put some points up here at the end of the game.
Coming up for the Bruins next week, they got Cherokee Trail away at Legacy Stadium as Marte gonna roll out to the near side. Finds a receiver, was tipped. And then it was intercepted! Well, with 3:45 left, might not be over, Matthew.
It might not. They got a long ways to go, Ben, but they got plenty of deep passes in their playbook. If you look at their playbook from last year, they got, I think, 5 or 6 distinct deep passes.
Wow, great camera work there. Ooh, that was awfully close. The interception will go to Camion Lewis Stallsworth, second interception by a Bruins quarterback tonight. And with 3:45, Smoky Hill's got to get downfield fast. They've got 89 yards to go.
.95 to go is doable. Look for 18 down here on the near side. Yep, going to 18. Oh, sorry, 15. Just a bit overthrown.
Now, where is Tyler Tolbert?
Well, they've done such a great job tonight subbing in and subbing out defensive players just to, you know, get some fresh legs in. I don't think Tyler's in right now. I would expect to see him sub in just a bit.
He's got 3:40 left. Here from Stutler Bowl, Cherokee leads at 35-14. Here on the Cherokee Sports Network, it's 2nd and 10 for Smoky Hill.
I think the second string defensive line is in here. You have Gus Zelinskis, younger brother Hank Zelinskis in here.
It's going to be the run. Try to turn the corner, get up to the 10-yard line, and they do, but they're going to have a 3rd and long coming up. 3:30 left in regulation.
Tackle is made by number 16, Austin Lurie.
On the tackle there was number 16, Austin Luring.
Son of Coach Luring.
Mm.
I had him for gym for 2 semesters. I still don't know if he knows my name.
I'm sure he does, Ben.
Fortunately, cut short to the pandemic 2nd semester last year. Here comes a run up to the 15, across to the 20. Almost got away. He had just about one guy to beat, but he was pushed aside. It's going to be a 1st down nonetheless.
And he gets out of bounds there, I believe, which is pretty key because it's going to stop the clock, give him a few more seconds, a few more opportunities. Of course, oh, the clock is still going. So, I don't know about that.
Take a look at the replay. Looks like he was stopped in bounds for sure.
Okay. Well, in any case, the clock is still going. It stopped there for a second. But this is where Smoky Hills, using all their timeouts before, is really going to come back to bite them because now they don't have that opportunity to stop the clock.
Another pass. Tipped and cannot be brought in. Anthony Harris Jr., the intended receiver.
Austin Lovering, again, with some shutdown defense right there.
Clock stops with 2:24 after the incompletion. Ball is on the 24-yard line. 23 3/4 yard line, let's call it. Another run here to the near side, get to the 30 to 35. That will be good enough for a 1st down. It's Marvin Jones once again. Clocks rolls on, 2:10 left. Now inside 2 minutes. Leslie Jones, get a run, it's working, and he's finally stopped But Marvin Jones was building some momentum. By the way, those NBA fans out there, Jimmy Butler sunk some go-ahead free throws with 17 seconds left. The Heat beat the Lakers. They're going to Game 6, Matthew.
Well, big night in sports for Cherry Creek and for the Lakers and the Heat.
Back to the near side, trying to get out of bounds, but he didn't hold on to the ball. It's incomplete.
And that's going to be Charles McKeever on the hit there. Again, one of those rising juniors. Just such a strong player. He loses the coverage at first, but he makes up for it by getting a hit after the catch, force the receiver to drop the ball. That's strong physical football right there.
79 seconds to go here from Stutler Bowl on the first night of the 2020 Colorado High School football season. Snap going to be another handoff and going to be brought down behind the line at the 32-yard line. Blake Purchase there with the tackle, brother of Miles. And now we're coming up on 50 seconds remaining. It's 4th and 16. Cooper Pollard is back deep for this kick punt return. And then after that, you assume the Bruins will be in the victory formation. Punt's going to land out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. Just outside the 30-yard line, maybe the 32 rather. And I think it's going to be victory formation for the Bruins with 31 seconds left here in the fourth quarter.
This was a high-scoring game. Both teams held their own really well.
And it is going to be marked down as a comeback win for the Bruins. They're down 7-0. But then they never let up after their first offensive possession.
We'll be looking after the game, see how many penalties they got.
That's going to be quite a stat. Definitely going to be a talking point when we see next, I think, on Thursday night from Legacy Stadium. It's fall break for me and you, Matthew.
Sure is, Ben.
Happy fall break to you.
Oh, thank you. You as well.
To all of you out there at home, the Bruins will kneel. And that will bring us to the conclusion of this contest. The Cherry Creek Bruins begin their championship defense perfect. It's 35-14, your final score here in week 1 of 2020. Matthew, your takeaways as these teams will meet at midfield to shake hands.
My takeaways is both teams played really well tonight. It was competitive football, and it was competitive football despite the fact that these teams have only really had 3 weeks to practice. So we're just excited that they're back. They're able to play. They've worked hard to be in this moment. Both teams really have. Coaches are excited. Players are excited. As we can tell from the stadium, the fans are really excited.
Looks like we're not shaking hands, actually. There's COVID protocols in place. You take a look at the line score. Cherry Creek put up 28 in the first half, tacked on one more here in the final quarter. So, as the teams will not shake hands, they'll rather have some type of embrace, social distance embrace at midfield. It's another Bruins victory, and what, 15 in a row? Going back to last season?
Well, Ben, I'd have to get my calculator up for that one, but certainly somewhere in the double digits.
I think it's 15 in a row after, 15 in a row for the Cherry Creek Bruins, so they'll defend that streak next week against Cherry Creek Trail. That game and all of Cherry Creek's regular season games you can find live here on the Cherry Creek Sports Network. I want to thank our entire crew for such an amazing broadcast tonight. There's so much behind the scenes work that goes on besides me and Matthew just talking your ears off, but Jonathan Varghese, our awesome director. Everything you see on the screen, the replays, the graphics, the sound, all him. He's done an excellent job tonight. Our wonderful camera operator, Miss Ella Barclay. Want to thank her for joining us tonight. Did such a great job. Matt Weiss, as always, none of this happens without him. We have to thank everybody who got football back in the state of Colorado. But until next week, for Matthew Anderson, I'm Benjamin Paris. Thanks for joining us on the Cherry Creek Sports Network. Good night from Stutler Bowl.